know a place that is flowing milk and honey. I know a place that is flowing milk and honey. I know a place that is flowing milk and honey. And that place is Zion, Jerusalem. Oh, it's calling us home. Jerusalem. Oh, it's calling us home. I know a place where there's a melody of fountains and springs. A place of serenity, filled with the sound of laughter. A place of provision, where our children are free. Yeah, yeah. How I long to be there at the feet of my King, dwelling in the shalom of the beautiful gates of Zion. I know a place that is flowing milk and honey. I know a place that is flowing milk and honey. I know a place that is flowing milk and honey. And that place is Zion, Jerusalem. Oh, it's calling us home. Jerusalem. Oh, it's calling us home. I know a place where the milk flows. It flows from the rocks and the mountains. Honey, honey so sweet. It brings healing to the nation. For the oppression of your children, you are here with an outstretched hand, yeah, to bring us to that place where we eat the fruit of the land. I know a place that is flowing milk and honey. I know a place that is flowing milk and honey. I know a place that is flowing milk and honey. And that place is Zion.
You turn me up a little bit in the headphones.
So here we are.
What is this strange?
Shalom, shalom, everybody. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom, Mishpaka. All praises to Yahuwah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Todah to Yahuwah. Praise Yahuwah and Yahusha. But we want to thank you, Father. Thank you so much, Yahuwah, for your blessings. Todah Rabbah for another prep day, Father. Todah Rabbah for your love. Todah Rabbah for your tender mercies, Father. For your tender mercies are everlasting. Todah Rabbah, O Most High, for you are through and your mercy endureth forever. Yahuwah, we love you, we honor you, we praise you, and we thank you so much, O Most High, for you are through, wonderful and perfect and just and righteous. And we love you, Abba. We thank you, Yahuwah, for you are through and gracious and merciful. You are slow to anger and great in kindness. And we thank you, Father, for you bless us abundantly. You guide us, Father. You woke us up, Father. You show us the truth, Yahuwah. The truth is in your word. The truth, O Most High, and awaken us and quicken us, Father, to ourselves, O Most High, to who we really are. And we thank you, Father, that you caused us, O Most High, the people, O Yahushua, to cause us to be the people of kings and priests, to cause us, O Most High, to be a people whom you have chosen to redeem, whom you have chosen to rise up, whom you have chosen to resurrect, whom you have chosen to be brought forth and birthed, O Most High, the birthing of a nation. We thank you, Abba Yahushua. We thank you, Saba Yahuwah. Toda Rabah, Father, for you are wonderful and holy and just. You are our salvation and strength. You are salvation and strength. You are a strong tower. You are a very present help in trouble every day, Father. Oh, you are the deliverer of your children, redeemer of your sons and daughters, deliverer of your hidden ones. Thank you, Father. Toda Rabah, Abba, for you are wonderful and worthy to be praised. Yahuwah, I pray in the name of Yahushua that you baruch this discussion, Father. Be in the midst of this discussion. Be in the midst of this teaching, Father. Oh, Yahushua. Oh, Yahushua. Oh, Yahushua, how excellent is your name across the earth. Father, according to your covenant, Father. Oh, Most High, baruch your people, baruch your children. Oh, baruch everyone listening to this message, Father. With a special level of barakot, Father. Give us wisdom and understanding, Father. More wisdom and understanding, that we may understand your word, Father, and be able to walk in it, Abba. That we may be able to walk in your commandments, walk in your word in a way that's pleasing before you, Father. Oh, Yahuwah, I pray that you baruch the mishpachah. Baruch them, Yahuwah, for you said that those who seek you will find you. Oh, Father, may this be a way to seek you, Father. Oh, Most High, bless the mishpachah to find you as they seek you, Abba. Bless the mishpachah to find you as they seek you, Adonai Yahusha. Guide them, keep them, Father. Strengthen them, Yahuwah. Lift them up, cause them to ascend in you, Father. Those, oh, Most High, who are called by your name, cause them, Father, to ascend, Yahusha. For you are wonderful, you are holy. You who are caused healing to rain on the mishpachah, Father. May these teachings drop down like rain on fertile soil, Father. Let these be your words and not mine, Yahusha. Let these be your words. Let these be your words and not mine, Yahusha. Toda Rabah, Father. Toda Rabah, Saba. Blessed glory and honor be to your holy name. Blessed kavod and honor be to your Kodesh name. Toda Rabah, Father. For another prayer day, Adonai Yahusha. Toda Rabah, so much, O Most High. For another prayer day, O Most High, Lu of Israel. Oh, Yahuwah, Toda Rabah, Father. Toda Rabah. Fill us with your Ruach HaKodesh, Father. Your Ruach HaKodesh. Fill everyone listening in with your Ruach HaKodesh, Father, who are called by your name, who are sealed to you in covenant, Father. Oh, have the mark of Yahusha on them, Father. Bless them and guide them, Abba. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. May it be so. Man, all praises to Yahuwah. Man, hallelujah. All praises to the Most High. Shalom, shalom, y'all. Shalom, shalom. What's going on, Mishpachah? Shalom, shalom. This is your Ag Mushar Asaph ben Yisrael. I'm coming out of the Austin Assembly. I want to give a big shalom and ahab to each and every one of y'all. Big shalom and ahab to my Isha Ahmed. All praise to the Most High, man. That's sorry. I had to hurry up and stop it because that be getting me going. I be ready to go. Look, I'm ready to get it going, y'all. Oh man. But yeah, if y'all don't have the album, go on and get it, y'all. It's a very powerful album. The Reclaiming the Throne soundtrack. Very, very through and powerful album. Yahuwah to be praised. Y'all going to support that if y'all don't got it yet. But basically, let me give my honors. So all praise to the Most High. I want to give eternal honors to Yahuwah and Yahusha. I want to give eternal honors to Saba Yahuwah and Ab Yahusha. I want to give eternal honors to Saba Yahuwah and Adoni Yahusha. All praises to the Most High. I want to give infinite honors to Malek Musha, infinite honors to Malek Yahusha. I want to give double honors to Malka Kayil, double honors to Malka Yada. I want to give double honors to Hagabir Malaka, double honors to Rosh Zakane, to Rosh Aluf Yitro, double honors to Rosh Ya'as, Yeshayahu, double honors to Hagabir Malaka, double honors to the Gabira Ot. I want to give double honors to Aluf Asaya, double honors to the Mushalim, double honors to all the Mushala Ot of the assemblies, and honors to all the leadership, and all the leadership in their respective places. So all praises to Yahuwah. All praises to the Most High. All right, y'all. But we're continuing in Ezekiel, Yechezq'El. And so we're going to continue, y'all. We're going to be covering an important part of Ezekiel today. Very significant part. So, y'all, just take your notes, do what you need to do to really get this stuff in you as we go through it because it's important. Nevertheless, this is a prep day discussion, so this is about preparing for Shabbat. A great way to prepare your mind, your heart, and soul for Shabbat is by diving into the scriptures, just getting some scriptures in you, getting some ways to really just focus on the ways of the things of the Most High, and His word is a great thing to get into. So right now we've been covering the Yechezq'El or Ezekiel, and it's been powerful. Because a lot of this stuff is applicable to today. When you read prophecy, it's multifaceted, it's multi-layered. Yeah, the prophecies, a lot of the prophetic utterances that Ezekiel brought out was regarding what they were dealing with at that point in time. But it's also, again, when you talk about Yahuwah's word, it's living. It's living. And so it also applies to a lot of aspects of what's going on today. You all will see that. You all have been seeing that. So let's get it in. Let's get it in, Mishpaka. All right. Tabitha Kumi, shalom. Shalom and barakot. Shalom and barakot. Yirmiyahu and Shamayahu. Shalom, y'all. Shalom and barakot. Liz R. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Kimmy Lamar Richardson. Shalom, Bach. Shalom and barakot to you. Cody Salar. Shalom and blessings. Shalom and blessings. Team MZ, shalom, shalom. Shalom and barakot. Yahweh, shalom and blessings, Ak. Shalom and blessings to you. Benjamin Roseman, shalom, shalom. What's going on? Shalom, shalom. What's going on? S. McCorkle, shalom. Shalom and blessings. Ema Yasha Yahu, shalom and honors, Ema. Shalom and honors. Praise Yahusha. Ama Tabitha Yahu, shalom. Shalom. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. And then Kanabat, shalom and barakot to you. Shalom and blessings. So, yeah, Cody say like that's it right there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it right there. That's the jam though, man. Yes, sir. Yeah. But yeah, y'all see my artwork back here? Got the elements of Yahuwah. And it's basically the Ma'im, the Shamayim, Eretz, and Esh. So that's the earth, water, land, and fire. One of our daughters did that. I was excited about putting it up. And then the chosen of Yahuwah, she really talented. So shout out to one of our daughters that is Bat Amudah, and it's really Bat Chaya, I believe they did this one. That's sisters. So shout out to Bat Chaya. She's very, very talented. Y'all will see more stuff from her though. Y'all will see more stuff from her. Well, all right, y'all. And nevertheless, let's go ahead and get right into it though. Let's get right into it. So we're gonna start off with Yechezq'El chapter 26. Yechezq'El chapter 26. So let's get right into it. All right, we're going to start with verse 1. All right. So it says, and it came to pass in the 11th year, on the first day of the month. So in the 11th year, on the first day of the month. So I wonder if this is the first day of the first month. But it doesn't say. Says that the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, Son of man, because Tyre has said against Jerusalem, Aha, she is broken, who was the gateway of the peoples. Now she is turned over to me. I shall be filled. She is laid waste. Therefore thus says Adon-Eluah, behold, I am against you, O Tyre, and will cause many nations to come up against you. Now, as you see, we talked about this last week, but we're at right now. Yahuwah has Ezekiel. So Ezekiel, for a long time, was declaring against the wicked amongst Yasharel, and declaring against Yasharel, against Judah and Jerusalem, because of the wickedness that was going on in Israel. You know, in Yehuda particularly, because y'all know the northern kingdom was already scattered by this time. But now this has been a transition. At this point in time, Yahuwah had been having Ezekiel for the last couple of last several chapters declaring against the other nations. Okay, so as you see here, if we go back a little bit, Yahuwah had in chapter 24. No, it was chapter 25. Yahuwah had Ezekiel declaring against the Ammonites, against the Moabites. As you see here, starting in verse 8, against the Moabites, the Ammonites, those are the descendants of Lot, and against Edom, against the Edomites, against the Philistines, against the Philistia. And now it's against Tyre, y'all. The declaration against Tyre is probably one of the most significant judgments and prophecies against this, because Tyre was a very significant land. It was basically it was basically almost like a world power during this. Yeah, it was for many generations. It was a world power, a force to be reckoned with, a center of the economy in the region. And so there are actually multiple chapters covering these judgments against Tyre. There's a difference. There's something very significant about Tyre compared to some of the other country or people groups that Yahuwah had Ezekiel to declare against and to prophesy against. So there's more chapters covered in Tyre than all the other nations we just covered last week, as far as the prophets are the declaring against them. You see what I'm saying? So let's take a look at this. So this was in the 11th year. I'm trying to see what month. Maybe it was the 11th month. Let me see here. So when he did so as you see here, when he did the prophecy about the cooking pot and Yahuwah had him do those different things, that was in the 9th year that we talked about last week. So we're seeing this was 2 years later. So as you see, when you read the book of Ezekiel, these are snapshots. So we're talking 2 years past. Now Yahuwah has him declaring against Tyre. This may be the first day of the first month. So this may be around the first of the beginning of the year. Maybe it's the first day of the year. Maybe that's why I don't say the specific year. I don't know. But nevertheless, that's neither here nor there. Tyre. Let's show a map here. So here goes a map of Tyre. This is from an online source that's giving you a depiction of ancient Israel surrounding around the time of Ezekiel. And as you see, Tyre, let me do a little pointer here. I'll do the laser pointer, yeah. So as you see, Tyre is up here in Sidon. So as you see, Tyre and Sidon, is right north of Israel. So at one point in time, Tyre was a neighbor. Tyre was a neighbor of Israel. So Tyre, as you see, is right on the Mediterranean Sea. It's right on the water. So because that it was a center of big commerce, big business, it was the center of the economy. Major civilization, very, very ancient civilization, much older than Israel. Tyre goes back to the ancient times, y'all. There's mentions of Tyre even in back in when Mitzrayim was going back to like 14th century BC and things like that. Tyre goes way back, y'all. And so let's look at some other things. So if you look down here, you see this is Jerusalem. Now the thing about Tyre is that Tyre always had Tyre throughout Israel's during times when Israel was on top and when Israel had dominion, you'll notice that we actually had relationships with Tyre. So Tyre was considered what we would call Lebanon. So when you talk about the cedars of Lebanon and things like that, that was in the region surrounding that area, like Tyre and Sidon. You can even go back to that's what I meant to say. I was thinking of I lost my train of thought. The Ugaritic people. So when you think of ancient people like the Ugaritic people, they were right north of. They were in that region of Tyre. Maybe they were a little bit north of Tyre. So some people do believe that they were related to the people in the region of Tyre and Sidon as well. But as far as primarily the Ugaritic people were north of Tyre. They were a little bit north. But they were ancient Semitic. The Ugaritic were like an ancient Semitic people. They had what they're really known for is the language that they the Ugaritic alphabet and the tablets, because those tablets, they're like a cuneiform type of script. You can tell there's a lot of relationship with that in ancient Hebrew. There's a lot of similarities between the Ugaritic alphabet, Aramaic alphabet, and a Paleo-Hebrew. So actually, if you look at Paleo-Hebrew, you'll realize that some people will call Paleo-Hebrew Phoenician script. So as you see in the map, these areas are called the Phoenician states. You see right here, Tyre, Sidon, these areas around here in the regions that's called modern day Lebanon were called the Phoenician states. And Paleo-Hebrew, let me tell y'all this, because this might be a surprise to some of y'all. Because I know some of y'all who are hardcore Paleo-Hebrew, Israelites weren't the only people that used Paleo-Hebrew script, y'all. Paleo-Hebrew was not only specific to Israelites. It was not. I know, y'all. I know. Because some of y'all are hardcore. Got to be Paleo-Hebrew or nothing else. Paleo-Hebrew was not only when I mean Paleo. Let me say it this way. So Paleo-Hebrew is not a language. Paleo-Hebrew is a script. I'm talking about the script. Let me show you an example so y'all know what I'm talking about, man. Let me show you an example, y'all. I don't want to confuse y'all. Hold on. Yeah, this is a good example. This is a tube example. I'm going to show y'all this real quick. Let's let y'all see my screen. All right. This is Paleo-Hebrew. It is a script. It is a script. It is not necessarily a language. It is not. It is a script. There's a difference. It is a difference. Because that means that there were people who spoke other languages who used the Paleo-Hebrew script, though, when they were writing in that language. You get what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. We if you're in most of us, we all speak English. That's just real. We all speak English, right? Now the script that we use, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, is it only English speakers that use that script? Don't Spanish people use that same script who speak Spanish? Don't people who speak Portuguese use the same script as us who speak English, right? Multiple languages use I don't know what we would call English script. The script that we use, that we write in the English language. I'll just put it that way. Paleo-Hebrew script was used by the Phoenicians. It was used by many nations, even surrounding Israel. Doesn't mean they were speaking Hebrew. They just used the script. So that's why when people go crazy because they found some Paleo-Hebrew on some stones in Ohio or something, doesn't necessarily mean that those were Israelites who did that. Now, it doesn't mean that it wasn't either, because we know there was Hebrews out there. There were Hebrews of all kind, though. Hebrew Edomites too, Ishmaelites. But there were Israelites there in the Americas before, before the colonization took it over. We know that. So it don't mean that they weren't Israelites, but you can't automatically assume that they were Israelites just because you see Paleo-Hebrew script somewhere. You got to see what the Paleo-Hebrew says, What's the wording? What language is being spoken in that Paleo Hebrew? You get what I'm saying? Because the Phoenicians used the Paleo Hebrew script as well. They did. You also have the pictograph Hebrew. The pictograph Hebrew is what I use a lot. If you ever, you watch teachings that I do, and when I'm breaking down a Hebrew word, the slides. For example, this right here is a pictograph Hebrew. Oh man, what's this? No. This right here is the pictograph Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the biblical Hebrew script. I know some people call it modern Hebrew. I thought it showed it to y'all, but it didn't. Let me do this. Let me switch over. So this right here would be considered Paleo Hebrew. Right here. And then you have biblical Hebrew that many people call modern Hebrew. But biblical Hebrew is not necessarily modern Hebrew. Modern Hebrew is what is spoken in the place that they call Israel today. That's modern Hebrew. Modern Hebrew is a mixture. So the European people who call themselves Jews, they actually came up with modern Hebrew pretty recently. I think, like in the last, I can't remember. It's a language they made up. They came up with that they developed that mixes Aramaic. It mixes I forgot that Germanic language that they man, I forgot what they call it. I know one of y'all got to know that. What's that Germanic language that the Jews derived their language from? I can't remember. But it's a European language that they mixed it with, along with real Hebrew. So it's a mixture. But that's what modern Hebrew is. Biblical Hebrew is not a language. Biblical Hebrew is a script. And this is an example of biblical Hebrew right here. This is an example of Bible. This is from a manuscript. This is a Aleppo Codex. But this is real Hebrew. You see Yahuwah right here. You can read some of that, but I think that says Yahuwah all. And it looks like that says Yahusha, but it's kind of hard with that. With this handwriting, because this is a handwritten manuscript. That is not modern Hebrew, though. Technically, it's not. All right. So, for example, if you get someone from Israel today, the place they call Israel today, and get them to speak to try to read what I just showed you, a biblical Hebrew text, if they're not well learned and studied in the scriptures, they won't be able to barely understand that it's a different language than what's than what is spoken in that land today. It's very important to understand, y'all, because a lot of people, they want to learn Hebrew so they can understand the Bible more. And what they'll do is they'll go to something like they'll go on like a website to learn the language, and they'll just go straight to like one of those pretty well known websites, Rosetta Stone, and then go and buy the Hebrew version so you can learn Hebrew. And that's not the same language that's spoken in the Bible. That's not the same. It's not biblical. Imayasha Yiddish. Yeah, Todah. Yeah, Todah, y'all. Kimmy Lamar Richardson and Team MZ. Todah. That's what I meant. Thank you. I knew y'all knew it. I knew y'all knew this. Because this is pretty common knowledge. But modern Hebrew is a mixture of Yiddish, some Aramaic, some other languages too, mixed with Hebrew. You see what I'm saying? That they developed very recently. It's in modern history. I can't remember exactly what year. But they know the person who created the language and everything. They know his name. That's what modern Hebrew is. But your scriptures are not in modern Hebrew. Your scriptures, when you look at a Strong's Concordance, that's not modern Hebrew. That's called biblical Hebrew. It's a later script that came out kind of around roughly maybe a little bit before the 1st century. Don't quote me on that. It's relatively recent though. Roughly around the times of Yahusha, around the 1st century, if I remember right, the biblical Hebrew script came out. And because Aramaic people use that script too. So Aramaic people who spoke Aramaic used that script as well. And Aramaic became kind of the lingua franca, which means like the common language spoken in the region surrounding Judea and all them areas around the times of Yahusha, around the 1st century, maybe a little bit before that. A lot of the people spoke Aramaic and things like that. And so that script, because the script really, the biblical Hebrew script is really probably originated, it has heavy influence from like Aramaic. But my point is, I just want y'all to understand the distinction. Someone who speaks Hebrew today, that they're not speaking the language of the scriptures. They wouldn't be able to take the a Hebrew Bible that's in Hebrew and fully really understand what they're reading. It's a totally different language. It's too many different words. So unless it's somebody who's very well studied. Okay. All right. And nevertheless, with that being said, this is just a little bit of a background of how big of a deal this is with Tyre. Tyre, very close to Israel. When Israel was on top, like during the days of Solomon, during the days of King Dawid, there was a relationship with Tyre. Because Tyre was a major exporter of goods, probably one of the top exporter of goods and services in the world, at least in the known world at this time. So let's keep looking. And it came to pass in the 11th year on the 1st day of the month that the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, Son of man, because Tyre has said against Jerusalem, Aha, she is broken, who was the gateway of the people. Now she is turned over to me. I shall be filled. She is laid waste. Therefore thus says Adon Alua, behold, I am against you, O Tyre, and will cause many nations to come against you, as the sea causes its waves to come up. So basically, Tyre, with it being a coastal city, it was very big with. It was very big surrounding the seas, the ships, and being able to be like a port for things to come in and things to go out very easily. And so it made it a very, very wealthy area, a very wealthy region. So it's interesting how Yahuwah had said, I will cause many nations to come against you as the sea causes its waves to come up. Because as Malek Yahusha been talking about a lot recently, relatively recently, the seas, the floods, that is invasion. That's the symbolism of invasion. That's the symbolism of the nations, the sea, the marine kingdom. That's why all the other nations are given over to the marine kingdom. And so if you see a flood of the sea, that's in the scriptures, that a lot of times that'll symbolize some sort of major invasion that's taking place. All right. Verse 4, and they shall destroy the walls of Tyre and break down her towers. I will also scrape her dust from her and make her like the top of a rock. Man, it shall be a place for spreading nets in the midst of the sea. For I have spoken, says Adon Alua. It shall become plunder for the nations. Man. Also her daughter villages, which are in the fields, shall be slain by the sword. Then they shall know that I am Yahuwah. For thus says Adon Alua, behold, I will bring against Tyre from the north Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Look what they call him, king of kings. So this is showing you that Yahuwah is what we talked about last week. That Yahuwah was using Babylon, y'all, as a like Nebuchadnezzar. Yahuwah basically used Nebuchadnezzar was looked at as Yahuwah's battle axe. Like y'all, have y'all read about Nebuchadnezzar? Yahuwah had a relationship with Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar got too prideful, and Yahuwah actually made it to where it's interesting, y'all. He had a relationship with Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar ain't your average Gentile. Yahuwah had a relationship with Nebuchadnezzar, y'all. Real talk. Nebuchadnezzar got too prideful, and so Yahuwah judged him and made him to where he was eating grass like an animal. And then Nebuchadnezzar, he came back and rose up and he declared Yahuwah as a Lord. Yahuwah used Nebuchadnezzar. He used Nebuchadnezzar to judge all these nations. He used Nebuchadnezzar to judge Israel, to judge Yehuda. It was Yahuwah who caused these things to happen, Mishpach. I don't think we realize this sometimes. And Nebuchadnezzar started to understand that it was Yahuwah who allowed him to do these things. I submit to y'all. Yahuwah had to make sure he understood, and he went through some judgments. He went through some chastisements. But then he eventually realized, and so he like, man, Yahuwah would give Nebuchadnezzar dreams and all kind of stuff and show him the dreams in the book of Daniel, showed him the dreams of the statue and showed him all the nations and all these things like that. Very interesting, to say the least. Now, that's the difference between Nebuchadnezzar and Pharaoh. So Yahuwah had showed Pharaoh, no, it's actually very similar. Because Yahuwah had showed Pharaoh some dreams, and back during the days of Yosef, and Yosef revealed it to him, and Pharaoh was wise enough to take heed, and he rose up Yosef, and Egypt was being blessed and through, because Pharaoh heeded the words of Yahuwah through Yosef. Same thing with Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar had these dreams. Daniel had showed him what the dreams meant, the interpretation. Nebuchadnezzar heeded the words of Yahuwah through Daniel and raised Daniel up to be a head in Babylon. I submit to y'all that Daniel was actually alive and ruling in Babylon during the times of Ezekiel. We're going to see that as well. Some proof we're going to read today on that Daniel was probably about elder age, a Zakane type of age, and was still ruling while Ezekiel was in Babylon, y'all. So Nebuchadnezzar was somebody who was being used by Yahuwah. Yes. Let's keep going. I will bring against Tyre from the north Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, king of kings, with horses, with chariots, and with horsemen, and an army with many people. He will slay with the sword your daughter villages in the fields. He will heap up a siege mound against you, build a wall against you, and raise a defense against you. He will direct his battering rams against your walls, and with his axes he will break down your towers. Because of the abundance of his horses, their dust will cover you. Your walls will shake at the noise of the horsemen, the wagons, and the chariots when he enters your gates, as men enter a city that has been breached. With the hooves of his horses he will trample all your streets. He will slay your people by the sword, and your strong pillars will fall to the ground. So pillars can also mean that the heads, the leaders, those who kept the city held up, the nations held up, will fall. Verse 12, they will plunder your riches and pillage your merchandise. They will break down your walls and destroy your pleasant houses. This is a big deal because that's what Tyre was known for, being a place of wealth and riches and business. This was a place that was all about business. This is a place that was all about business and merchandise and export and import and goods and services and trade. That's what this was all about. They will break down your walls and destroy your pleasant houses. They will lay your stones, your timber, and your soil in the midst of the water. I will put an end to the sound of your songs, and the sound of your harps shall be heard no more. I will make you like the top of a rock. You shall be a place for spreading nets. I wonder what that word for rock is. This is it Zor? Let's see. Nope, Selah. All right. Selah. I will make you like the top of a rock. You shall be a place for spreading nets, and you shall never be rebuilt. For I, Yahuwah, have spoken, says Adon Alua. Thus says Adon Alua to Tyre, will the coastlands not shake at the sound of your fall? When the wounded cry, when slaughter is made in the midst of you? Will the coastlands not shake at the sound of your fall? When the wounded cry, when slaughter is made in the midst of you? Then all the princes of the sea will come down from their thrones, lay aside their robes, and take off their embroidered garments. They will clothe themselves with trembling. They will sit on the ground, tremble every moment, and be astonished at you. And they will take up a lamentation for you, and say to you, how have you perished, O one inhabited by seafaring men, O renowned city, who was strong at sea, she and her inhabitants, who caused their terror to be on all her inhabitants. Now the coastlands tremble on the day of your fall. Yes, the coastlands by the sea are troubled at your departure. For thus says Adon Alua, when I make you a desolate city, like cities that are not inhabited, when I bring the deep upon you and great waters cover you, then I will bring you down with those who descend into the pit, to the people of old. And I will make you dwell in the lowest part of the earth, in places desolate from antiquity, with those who go down to the pit, so that you may never be inhabited. And I shall establish Kabod in the land of the living. I will make you a terror, and you shall be no more. Though you are sought for, you will never be found again, says Adon Alua. Man. So yeah, this is very, very significant. Very significant. So taking a look at this. So the word for Tyre, the word for Tyre in Hebrew is Zor. It's Sor. It's a Sad or Sadi. Sad or Sadi, however you pronounce that, and a Resh. So it's a Sad and a Resh. So I have, as y'all see here, I got two different scripts I'm using here. This is the biblical Hebrew. If you have if you buy a Bible that has a Hebrew lexicon, so if you buy a Bible that has the Hebrew and the English side by side, it's always going to use biblical Hebrew. It'll probably have the vowel points. So Zohar would have like a little dot right there. I'll do it without the vowel points. And then I have the pictograph Hebrew, which to my understanding is the oldest script that we used. Even the pictograph Hebrew, as you see, it's similar to Egyptian hieroglyphs. It's similar to Egyptian hieroglyphs because our people we came out of Egypt as a nation. But that comes from the Elephantine, did I say that right? Elephantine manuscript. I think I said that right. If anybody want to do any looking into that, I believe it's called the Elephantine manuscript, is where the pictograph Hebrew was originally found, where there were Israelites using this script. And it's Elephantine papyri, yeah. And it's basically with some Israelites who were writing different things, and that was the manuscript that they used, the pictograph. So it's probably the oldest one. So I like to use it a lot. I like it because it makes it a lot easier. So if you ask me what's the best manuscript to use, their preferred one. I mean, is there a best script to use, biblical Hebrew, pictograph, or paleo? I'll say that's not really. It's dependent on what you're using it for. That's really, it's not to me, there's not one that's over the other. That's to me. Other people have, everybody has their different opinions on that. But as you see on this artwork that the daughter did, that's biblical Hebrew. So I would say if you want to read if you want to read the Bible in Hebrew, then you want to use biblical Hebrew, because all the Bibles that are in Hebrew are going to be using biblical Hebrew. All of the scriptures that you can buy, you go on Amazon, you're not going to really find much out there that's going to be in like pictograph Hebrew or paleo. I've seen one, but it's not, they're going to be in biblical Hebrew. Now, paleo Hebrew is important if you want to look at old manuscripts that were found, like if you look at old steles and old things like that were found of old, and you want to kind of learn how to read those and things like that. Paleo Hebrew is important for that because that's in the Paleo Hebrew. You look at old seals from Hezekiah and different things like that. And they're written in Paleo Hebrew. As far as pictograph Hebrew are great for breakdowns. You're trying to really learn how to break down Hebrew words well and try to get better at that. The pictograph really helps you see and it helps you to memorize what each letter means Hebraically a little easier because of, for example, the word for Tyre is Zor. It's a Sadi and a Resh. As you see in the pictograph Hebrew, the Sadi is a picture of a man laying in wait to hunt. That's the aspect of the Sadi. It's not as easy to see that when you look at the biblical Hebrew version. It's still there a little bit, but it's a lot more clearer when you're looking at the pictograph. And then the Resh is the chief or the head. That's a way to look at it, or the first. And as you see again, this looks a little bit more like a head than the biblical Hebrew. It's just again, it's about whatever you're using it for. I use the pictograph a lot because when I'm teaching, because usually I'm breaking down a word. So we're going to break this word down. Why is it doing that? Man, that's strange. But because we're going to break down this word. So my bad, y'all. I didn't even have it in front of y'all. Oh, man. All right, my bad, y'all. I thought this was in front of y'all. But basically, what I was just saying, I'm just reiterate while I have it in front of y'all now. The Sadi and the Resh in pictograph Hebrew, you notice the Sadi, there's a picture of a man laying in wait to hunt, to catch his prey, a hunter. Because the Sadi, it means a stronghold. It could mean an arrow that's shooting, a hunter, etc., things like that. Someone shooting an arrow, someone lying in wait to catch the prey, a stronghold, a snare, a trap. These are different aspects of the Hebrew letter Sadi or Sod. As you see in the biblical Hebrew, it's not as, it's there, but it's not, it don't look as clear. It's just easier to see to break down a pictograph. And then the Rosh or the Resh, it looks a lot more like a head in the pictograph Hebrew compared to in the biblical Hebrew. So I just was highlighting that. All right, now that y'all can see it. Anyway, but we're gonna break it down. So the Sadi it means a lot of different things. I just told y'all. And like the stronghold, and the Resh is a head. It's a stronghold for the chiefs. It's a stronghold for the heads. It's a stronghold for the heads. So that's what Zor means, or a breakdown of Zor, which is Tyre. I know the Hebrew word for Tyre is a lot different than the English word for Tyre is a lot different than what it actually says in the Hebrew. So it's a sore. It's a stronghold for the chiefs, y'all. Stronghold for the chiefs. It also can mean a rock, a sharp stone, flint, like a knife. That's what was used to circumcise, to cut, to circumcise, or as far as for the covenant, was a flint stone, a sharp flint stone. That's what was used to our ancestors used to circumcise our children. You see what I'm saying? So Total Cody said, I know you're right. That's what it is. Elephantine papyrus. Yeah, I had to do the same thing because I was trying to go off memory and I forgot myself. But I'll pray to you. So Tyre was a stronghold for the chiefs. Now there's a double-edged sword when you're talking about chiefs. So you got the chiefs and the heads of Israel, but you also got the chiefs and the heads of the other nations. In this instance, Tyre was a stronghold for the heads of the other nations, for the chiefs. It was a stronghold, a place like a stronghold. So a modern day way to talk about a stronghold is like a base, a place of protection, a place where things are dispatched, where things come out. A military base would be looked at, for example, as a stronghold. If any of y'all are military and y'all live on a military base, that would be considered a stronghold. That's a place where you can dispatch airplanes from there to fight the enemy, or for example, that's what the place America dispatches drones out of to fight the enemy, their enemies. Airplanes, fighter jets, bombers. It's a stronghold those are strongholds for this nation, for Babylon. That's what military bases are. So I grew up. I grew up as a military brat, and basically, for those who don't know what that means, it just means you grew up with your parents was in the military, basically. So they coined it military brat. I don't know why they call it that, but just for I grew up my dad was in the Air Force, so living on bases. I know there was one time when we lived overseas. My dad, he had got stationed in Europe, and so we had to live out there for like a little while. It's like about a year and a half. We had to stay over there for almost 2 years. And what I noticed was that when we were out there, it was probably one of the greatest experiences. I didn't want to go out there, but once I got out there, I liked it. I did enjoy it. It took a while to get used to it, but once I got used to it, I actually enjoyed it. It's one of the best experiences that I could have had because I learned a lot. So when you're out there, what I realized, actually looking back, I didn't realize it at the time because I was pretty young. I was just going into my teens, like middle school, so I was young. But after World War II, the U.S., to keep Europe, basically, especially Germany, that's what we was at, to keep them in check, America established several military strongholds all throughout Germany. Several. When I was there, this is a long time ago, y'all. I'm talking about, I don't give away my age, you feel me? But, this was in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? But at that time, I know a lot changed now, but at that time, there were, I don't know how many military bases all throughout the land of Germany. Army bases, Air Force bases. Some of them were Army and Air Force. The one I was in, that base closed down, but it was an Army and Air Force base. And it was to keep basically Germany subdued, to keep them from, because it was, World War II, Hitler and Germany, and, they tried to take over the world. And so the U.S. and its allies had won World War II. And so after that, I don't know the specifics on the agreements they made, but in order to keep Germany from doing anything like that again, to keep them in check, the U.S. established multiple strongholds all throughout Germany, okay? Basically, the U.S. conquered Germany. They conquered the place. See, we're in a bubble in America. You don't really realize it till you go out there that we conquered that place. We conquered Germany, and had it and occupied it. And the way that you do that, you have to establish these strongholds throughout the country, so that if you got a wreck shop, you can dispatch what you need from those strongholds. You see what I'm saying? So every day, you hearing, airplanes, fighter jets flying every day. They, I was so used to it because that's all I knew. Fighter jets flying full speed. They breaking the sound barrier every so on. It sounds like it shakes the whole base. Airplane will start to go too fast and break the sound barrier. And it's just because all these military weapons and this power and might is being dispatched from these bases across the world. It also gives the U.S. more of a footprint closer to other nations that they may be warring against, that they need to keep in check as well, like places in the what we would call the Middle East, places in other parts of the world. They'll use those bases. Like right now, what they're doing in the Middle East, a lot of the fighting that they're dispatching their drones and stuff from is not coming from America. It's from their bases that they already have established in places like Iraq and in places throughout Europe. So I just want to give you an idea of what that means as far as a stronghold. A broader idea, because America is an empire, y'all. An empire. There's military bases all across the world. Iraq in itself has, I don't know how many different military bases, and that's what's been an issue. You've been seeing on the news that that a couple of those military bases were being attacked recently. So, nevertheless, that's the idea of a stronghold. It's a place where you can dispatch things from, where you can also exercise your dominion out of, and things of that sort. And it's a stronghold for the heads. It's also kind of, and in that case, it's also like a place of protection. So a stronghold is also a place of protection, but it's protection from an aggressive standpoint. Not like a protection like a place where you stand and you're just protected. No, it's protection because you got guns and bombs there that you can utilize whenever you need to. I remember this one dude, he had told me, because we're in Texas, right? So Texas has a whole lot of military bases. Texas might have more military bases than anybody. Right? If it don't, it may be at the top, maybe top 2, top 3 most military bases in the country. Because y'all know that Texas was invaded by America too. Texas had to be invaded. This was a part of Mexico. Some of y'all went to public school. Y'all might not know that. Y'all ain't listen during the U.S. history class. But Texas, for those Texans, was not always a part of the United States. It used to be a part of Mexico. It had to be conquered. It was conquered. It was taken over by America. So that's why you see, the Battle of the Alamo. You hear all about all those types of things. So because of that, Texas has a gang of military bases. The Alamo and all that happened in San Antonio. San Antonio itself has like four military bases in one city, different military bases. You got Lackland, Randolph. I thought it was maybe 3. I thought it was one other. I can't think of it right now. But this one dude, he was telling me, he's like, man, look. He was like, man, I'm trying to live in Texas. He's like, because, man, look, if the United States gets invaded by another nation, he's like, man, he said, man, the last stand, Texas is going to be the last stand is going to be in Texas. Because in his mindset, Texas, because it has so many military bases, that's going to be where the hardest place to conquer in the United States. That was his mindset. In my mindset, I'd be like, I don't know, because if Texas got the most military bases. If that was me, I probably would target Texas first, because then I know if I can take Texas out, if you're trying to invade America, then everything else would be downhill. But that was his idea. He's like, man, I'm gonna live in Texas, man, because I know in Texas, if America gets invaded, it'll be protected. It'll be protected. It'll be that'll be like the last stand will be in Texas. It was pretty funny. But oh, okay, so they closed down Kelly. Okay, I ain't realized that. Total Rabah. So it's only 2 there then now, just Lackland and Randolph. Okay. But yeah, that was Tyre, though, is what I'm saying. That was the idea of Tyre. It was looked at as a stronghold. It was looked at as a place that was impenetrable. It was a place. It was like America. Very wealthy land, very wealthy. The center of commerce, the center of business. So if you would think of Tyre, think of it like this from a modern day perspective. Tyre had all the major corporations there. You know what I'm saying? Think about how America is. America is the center of all the corporations of the world, for real. America is the center of business. So much so that the CEOs are the leaders in America. The CEOs. Why do you think Donald Trump is running for president right now? Who is Donald Trump? Donald Trump is a doggone CEO. He's a businessman. That's what he is. And they're looked at as the princes of the earth. They're looked at as almost like that's what I was talking about. Fort Sam, Angie. Hold on. I don't know if that's Ema, Angie, but yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Fort Sam. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah. But the CEOs, so I'm in Austin, for example. Austin became a major economic powerhouse in the United States, to where it was literally Austin for a while. That's changed, but for a while, it was like one of the top cities that had one of the best economies in the country. So for like 10 years straight, it was like one of the fastest growing cities in the country. For like about 9 to 10 years straight, it was just one of the fastest growing cities, because the economy was just booming here for a long time. And it was because of there was a tech boom. It's all because of industry. It's all because of business. Like literally, y'all, I want y'all to understand this, how business makes, when it comes to Babylon and when it comes to the kingdom of darkness, business is what makes the world go round. Business is what drives everything. The love of money. That's why the scriptures talk about how the love of money is the root of all types of evil. That's what rules everything. Literally, the dominion is coming from business. So the businessmen, the business leaders, the CEOs, they're the ones who really run the country. So you'll notice when Yahuwah judges these nations, he's judging the businesses. He's judging the businessmen. He's judging the economy. He's judging the CEOs, the commerce. You get what I'm saying? Y'all don't even realize some of y'all work for these people. And y'all don't realize how wicked they are. That a lot of these places, the foundations of them was based off of slavery. And so because that, they still make money off of slave work from the prisons, are doing things for them. And a lot of that, they're exploiting a lot of y'all too as employees. They're raking in billions of dollars, multi-billions of dollars, while you barely trying to just pay your bills. You helping them bringing in multi-billions and billions of dollars. And they're the princes of the earth. They're at the top of the totem pole in wealth and riches. But yet, they paying you just enough to barely be able to pay your light bill. You've been faithful, working there for years, and they'll lay you off. They will. They'll fire you just because they want to make just to make the investors in the stock market look a certain way, and just so that a company can look a certain way for their investors. That's the best way to put it. They'll lay you off. You might have been there for years, and it ain't that they hurting for money. We're not talking about now. It's different when a business is just not getting business no more, and they don't have the funds to be able to pay their employees, so they have to lay people off because they're about to go out of business. That's different. Most of these companies, that's not what's happening. It's not, Mishpaka. It is not. They be doing well. They be doing just fine. You look at their yearly numbers, multi-billions of dollars they done raked in that year, and they'll still lay you off just to make the investors happy, y'all, in the stock market. That's it. Wicked, y'all. They already wasn't paying you what you was worth. Already wasn't paying you what you was worth. You've been faithful. You've been there for years. Stock market is down, and so what they'll do, it's not that they hurting for money, they pulling in plenty. They'll lay you off just to look a certain way to their investors, y'all. I've seen it firsthand. I've experienced it firsthand. Wicked, y'all. I saw one of my family members, man, really be faithful to this company, man. Was there for over a decade. Out here. Faithful to this company, man. The CEO of this company is literally one of the richest people in the world. Literally. Literally. And they laid off thousands of people, even though that year they pulled in like 40 billion that year. They laid off thousands of people, y'all, which my family member was a part of that, and they didn't care nothing about it. Wicked, y'all, wicked. Yahuwah, let me tell y'all something, y'all. Yahuwah's coming to judge all of them. Yahuwah is coming to judge all of them, y'all. He's coming to judge this entire system. That's why you cannot let yourself, you got to come out of Babylon as far as in your ruach, in your spirit and your mind. You got to come out of her, my people. Because Yahuwah's coming to destroy this stuff. It's wicked, y'all. The time is up for them. No longer will they be ruling the earth. Y'all, a lot of these corporations, they're using sweatshop labor, exploiting our people that are over in the continent for minerals. These are the corporations doing this. Think about these computer companies. Y'all know there's a mineral called coltan. You can only find it in Central Africa. There's children in these mines, y'all, mining this coltan for pennies in extreme conditions, harmful conditions, getting pennies to mine coltan in Africa, while these corporations are making billions off of this stuff. They're making computers, they're making everything, computer chips, cell phone. All that comes from there's a mineral that's needed to make all your smartphones, all your computers, even all these smart cars, all that stuff. There's a mineral called coltan. Look it up. It's only found in Africa, y'all. And I believe it's only in Central Africa. And the way that they're able to do that is by exploiting all these people over in that region, especially children. You can go on and on and on, y'all. On and on and on. And I know, you got to do what you got to do so that you can, Yahuwah will bless you with a job under some of these companies so that you can be able to provide for yourself and for your family. That's thub. But what I'm saying is don't get attached to them. Don't have have no loyalty. No loyalty with them. Know what you are there for. You are there to provide for you and your family, to build the kingdom, to use the money you get in to build the kingdom, etc., etc. That's it. Because they will drop you quick. Do you know if these jobs, if something happened, most high forbid, if something happened to you, all they're gonna do is replace you the next day. Yeah. They might, send an email out, and they're gonna just replace you and move on. This system is wicked. Have no loyalty with this place. No loyalty with this system. Because Yahuwah is coming to judge it. Hallelujah. Let's keep going. So as you see here, this is in the book of Yechezq'El. So Tyre has been around for a long time. So this is during the days of Yechezq'El, the prophet Yechezq'El, who was quite a while before Yirmiyahu and Ezekiel. But Yahuwah had Yechezq'El prophesy against Tyre during Yechezq'El's day. And look what it says, Yechezq'El 23, verse 8. Who has taken this counsel against Tyre, the crowning city, whose merchants are princes? That is America. That's Babylon. Who has taken this counsel against Tyre, the crowning city, whose merchants are princes? Look, whose traders, that's the businessmen, y'all. Don't spiritualize it too much. When it's talking about traders, they're talking about the businessmen. Traders, those who are doing business. Whose traders are the honorable of the earth. That's Babylon. Man, you can be wicked as I don't know what, but if you're a businessman and successful, you are going to be considered the honorable of the earth here in America. That's how it works here. Why do you think somebody as wicked as Donald Trump is running for president? He done got caught in all kind of stuff too, didn't he? He got so many scandals. It's funny though. It's funny. But yeah, he still has a through chance. I don't follow it. But to my understanding from the surface, it seems like he has a chance to win the presidency again. He won it before. And it's because the merchants are the honorable of the earth. The traders, the merchants are the princes of the earth. How come, I asked y'all this before, can somebody tell me, somebody help me, why does, what's the owner of Microsoft name? I can't remember his name anymore. I lost it. No, not him. What's the founder of Microsoft? Man, what's his name? I know y'all know. Doggone it. I don't know why I keep losing my memory. Let me Google it, man. Yeah, Bill Gates. Hallelujah. I just had to Google it real quick. But yeah, so somebody tell me this. How does Bill Gates have influence on world policy? How was he able to push for all this stuff to be moved forward from the healthcare perspective? He ain't nobody's doctor. He's a businessman who had a successful business, computer business. How was he able to have all this influence to where he can influence world policy? I'm talking about on a global scale. I think it was him and his wife. Benjamin Brosman said, "I wouldn't say Donald Trump is worse than Joe Biden." Hey, I don't. Yeah, Sailor, I'm with you. I don't have no hat in the race on that. All right, look, I'm not a part of that at all. I let everybody else fight them. Determine that they all wicked to me. They all wicked. But yeah, it's just showing you though. My point by bringing that up about Bill Gates is showing you how Tyre is Babylon is Tyre, America, where the merchants and the traders are the princes of the earth. You get what I'm saying? Let's see here. Who has taken this counsel against Tyre, the crowning city, whose merchants are princes, whose traders are the honorable of the earth? Yahuwah Sabaoth has purposed it, to bring to dishonor the pride of all Kabod, to bring into contempt all the honorable of the earth. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, this is what's coming. This is what's coming. There is judgment coming to these corporations, y'all. See, we don't look at it like this, but y'all, these corporations, especially the real big ones, these corporations are attached to other allures. They're attached to principalities. They are. That's why they have so much dominion. That's why they're able to, like this whole area right here, where I'm at in Central Texas, was totally shifted by Dell. Dell is a computer company that he's from out this area. He's from Central Texas. He went to UT. And he is literally like a principality in his region. He literally changed the whole region, shifted the whole area, the whole economy, everything. The whole town. At one point in time, it's not on that same level today, but it was at one point in time, the whole city surrounded around Dale. That's how it is in a lot of cities in America, and especially the smaller towns. A whole town will literally surround around one corporation that moved in there. Everybody works there. Everybody goes there. Everything in that town surrounds around this company that's there, this corporation. It's literally attached to a principality. The principality are entities that rule over regions. The Ruwako entities that rule over regions, y'all. For example, Detroit. Detroit was a booming place at one point in time, booming economy, one of the top economies in the country, only because of the motor, primarily I should say, because of the motor industry. The motor, I don't know what the proper term for that, but it was because of the business that was there from the motor vehicles, motor vehicle industry. I guess that's the best way to word it. And then what happened was, when the motor vehicle industries pulled out, I think they're starting to move back now, but there was a season where they all were pulling out left and right. Detroit literally went downhill immediately. The whole city, for the most part, surrounded around that industry. So when they pulled out, the economy just tanked to where Detroit had one of the highest crime rates, one of the highest rates of poverty. Automotive industry. Told everybody, man, y'all are helpful. Praise the Most High for y'all. Automotive industry. But Detroit ended up having one of the highest crime rates in the country, highest murder rates in the country, one of the highest poverty rates in the country. The list goes on, and primarily it's surrounded around because the industry that was there. You know what I'm saying? It's time for that stuff to change. It's time for that stuff to change, y'all. It is not through. We own. That's all we know. So We don't think too much of it, but I'm telling you, it's extremely wicked. Extremely. This is why the nations, this is why the world is so polluted. It's because of corporations and industry. This is why the ocean, one of the reasons why the oceans are dying. A lot of these companies and corporations are literally spilling chemicals and things into the ocean every day that are killing the oceans, y'all. It's crazy. We used to be able to drink out of the rivers and streams, y'all. If you read in the scriptures, we were able to go in Jerusalem and in Israel, and the rivers were to drink out of. That was living water. You go and you drink from the streams. That was normal. You can't do that now today because primarily because the corporations and businesses, they dump all kind of chemicals into those streams and rivers. They're not drinkable. You actually can die trying to do that. For example, when you read in Judges, when with the 300 and Gideon and how they drunk out the rivers, that was normal. You can't do that today. All the a large portion of the pollutions in the air is coming from literally companies and corporations, y'all. A large portion of the pollutants in the oceans coming from corporations and companies. They literally trying to destroy the whole world, y'all. Literally trying to destroy the world. Or defile the world, I should say that, with all types of uncleanness. It is not going to be like that anymore. This is all we know. We think this is how it's supposed to be. It will not be like that no more. Things are shifting. Yahuwah is going to judge these corporations. Things are going to shift, y'all. When the Kodesh people are ruling and reigning again, all things will be back right. All things will be balanced out. Yahuwah is going to weigh the balances. And he's going to make the unjust balances just again. It is coming. So as y'all see here in Shemuel Shani, this is in 2 Samuel chapter 5. It says, then Hiram, king of Tyre. See, he was a king of Tyre. He sent messengers to Dawid. So this was during the days of King David. It said he sent messengers to Dawid and cedar trees and carpenters and masons. Because as you see, this is showing that Tyre was the center of all this industry and business and textile and products. So when David wanted to build a house, like a place, he knew the place to get the best products for that house was not in Israel. It was to go and get them imported from Tyre, y'all, from Lebanon. They had the best products, the best wood, the cedars of Lebanon. That's Tyre. Tyre is basically in the regions of what we'll call modern day, what we'll call Lebanon. And then it says, so David knew that Yahuwah had established him as king over Israel, and that he had exalted his kingdom for the sake of his people Israel. Y'all, that is the idea of Tyre. And then as you see, you saw something similar happen when David's son Solomon came into rule, when Israel was on top. It says, now it happened at the end of 20 years, when Solomon, this is Melachim Rishon, 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 10. Now it happened at the end of the 20 years, when Solomon had built the two houses, the house of Yahuwah and the king's house, Hiram, the king of Tyre, had supplied Solomon with cedar and cypress and gold, as much as he desired. So y'all see that this was very similar. Now look at this. That King Solomon then gave Hiram 20 cities in the land of Galilee. Now, that's a big deal. I submit that Solomon, this is one of the places where Solomon actually messed up, because he gave the king of a Gentile nation cities in the land of Israel. So before Solomon did the big sin, when he started, building temples to another Eluah and things like that, what you'll start noticing is when you read Solomon's story carefully, there were little things he started doing before the big sins that led up to the big sins. I don't even know if you want to call this a little thing. This is a big thing as well. But he gave, y'all listen, Solomon gave, a lot of people miss this. He gave the king of a Gentile nation 20 cities in the land of Galilee. Do y'all understand that the land of Galilee was a place that specifically had inheritances for the that was only for the children of Israel? So what he did, he gave away people's inheritance to Gentiles. Every part of the land of Israel was set apart for a tribe in Israel for their inheritance. Every part, every portion of Israel. A Gentile can come and he can join Israel and he can live amongst the cities, but you gave him cities. He owns whole 20 cities. He gave away inheritance of Yechezq'El to a Gentile, all in the name of, I submit, just being political, being diplomatic, keeping through relationships and things like that with the other nations. But that was against the Torah. He went against, I submit, he went against Torah when he did that. Verse 12. Then Hiram went from Tyre to see the cities which Solomon had given him, but they did not please him. So as you see, this is very interesting. That King Hiram didn't even appreciate it, y'all. He didn't even like it. It says, so he said, what kind of cities are these which you have given me, my brother? And he called them the land of Kabul, which means like good for nothing, what the footnote says. As they are to this day. Then Hiram sent the king 120 talents of gold. This stuff wild, man. This stuff is wild. So as you see, all the nations that Yahuwah had Ezekiel to declare against, these nations are basically surrounding Israel. So these are the land of the Philistines. This is the Ammon. So you see, this is the land of the Philistines right here in the red. This is Ammon right here. This is Moab. This is Edom. And then now you have Tyre up here. So Yahuwah had the children, Ezekiel, to declare against all the surrounding nations. So now we're speaking on Tyre. And we talked about this, but if you go to Psalm 83, you'll see that that was also mentioned. Psalm 83, Psalm of Asaph. It says, do not keep silent, O Allure. Do not hold your shalom, and do not be still, O Allure. For behold, your enemies make a tumult, and those who hate you have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against your people and consulted together against your sheltered ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be remembered no more. For they have consulted together with one consent. They form a confederacy against you, and then are given the nations. The tents of Edom and the Ishmaelites, Moab and the Hagarites, Gebal, Ammon and Amalek, Philistia, and look what it says, with the inhabitants of Tyre. So as you see, this is all lining up, y'all. This is all lining up. This was a Psalm of Asaph. Going back to Ezekiel. The word of Yahuwah came again to me, saying, now, son of man, take up a lamentation for Tyre and say to Tyre, you who are situated at the entrance of the sea, merchant of the peoples on many, let me make sure I read this right, and say to Tyre, you who are situated at the entrance of the sea, merchant of the peoples on many coastlands, thus says Adon Allure. O Tyre, you have said, I am perfect in beauty. Your borders are in the midst of the seas. Your builders have perfected your beauty. So you see, they had the best builders. Your builders have perfected your beauty. They made all your planks of fir trees from Sinir. They took a cedar from Lebanon to make you a mast. Of oaks from Bashan they made your oars. The company of Asherites have inlaid your planks with ivory from the coast of Cyprus. Fine embroidered linen from Egypt was what you spread for your sail. Blue and purple from the coast of Elisha was what covered you. Inhabitants of Sidon and Arvad were your oarsmen. Your wise men, O Tyre, were in you. They became your pilots. Elders of Gebal and his wise men were in you to caulk your seams. All the ships of the sea and their oarsmen were in you to market your merchandise. Those from Persia, Lydia, and Libya were in your army as men of war. They hung shield and helmet in you. They gave splendor to you. Men of Arvad with your army were on your walls all around, and the men of Gamad were in your towers. They hung their shields on your walls all around. They made your beauty perfect. Tarshish was your merchant because of your many luxury goods. They gave you silver, iron, tin, and lead for your goods. Javan, Tubal, and Meshech were your traders. So y'all familiar with Javan, Tubal, and Meshech. These are actually the people of Japheth. So these are like what we would call modern day European nations. Javan, Tubal, and Meshech were your traders. They bartered human lives. Look at this, y'all. So look what this is saying. So Javan, I believe, was that Greece? Let's see. Or was that Spain? I believe Javan would be looked at, what most people would say. Let's see. Yeah, well, it was modern day Greece. It's where the Grecians come from, at least. Tubal. These are all basically what we would make up modern day. Who you would call where your Europeans came from, basically. Tubal was basically Turkey. Was basically Turkey, what we call modern day Turkey, and the same as Meshech. So you're talking about, European nations. Javan, Tubal, and Meshech were your traders. Listen, they bartered human lives and vessels of bronze for your merchandise. The Europeans came in there, y'all, what this is saying, and they came in and they traded slaves, y'all. They were doing some sort of a slave trade. This stuff is wild, y'all. Nothing new under the sun. The people of Japheth were coming through and trading with the people of Tyre. Slaves. They were trading men, human lives, and vessels of bronze for your merchandise. Those from the house of Togarmah traded for your wares with horses, steeds, and mules. The men of Dedan were your traders. Many isles were the market of your hand. They brought you ivory tusks and ebony as payment. Syria was your merchant because of the abundance of goods you made. They gave you for your wares emeralds, purple, embroidery, fine linen, corals, and rubies. Judah and the land of Yechezq'El were your traders. They traded for your merchandise, wheat of millet, honey, oil, and balm. Now, as you see, that that Judah traded with them a lot, because we just read that King David had a relationship with the king of Tyre, and used products from Tyre to build his house. You see what I'm saying? So, and then you saw Solomon did the same thing, but Solomon took the relationship overboard and even gave away cities of Israel to King Hiram. He wasn't supposed to do that. But this is showing you here that Judah dealt with Tyre. Verse 18, Damascus was your merchant because of the abundance of goods you made, because of your many luxury items with the wine of Helbon and with white wool. Dan and Javan paid for your wares, traversing back and forth. Wrought iron, cassia, and cane were among your merchandise. Dedan was your merchant in saddlecloths for riding. Arabia and all the princes of Kedar were your regular merchants. They traded with you in lambs, rams, and goats. The merchants of Sheba and Ramah were your merchants. They traded for your wares the choicest spices, all kinds of precious stones, and gold. Haran, Kane, Eden. Eden? The merchants of Sheba, Assyria, and Hilmad were your merchants. They must be talking about another Eden. Interesting. Verse 24, these were your merchants in choice items, in purple clothes, in embroidered garments, in chests of multicolored apparel, in sturdy woven cords, which were in your marketplace. So as you see, this was the center of business, y'all. This is where you got everything from, was Tyre. Verse 25, the ships of Tarshish were carriers of your merchandise. You were filled and very glorious in the midst of the seas. Your oarsmen brought you into many waters, but the east wind broke you in the midst of the seas. Your riches, wares, and merchandise, your mariners and pilots, your caulkers and merchandisers, all your men of war who are in you, and the entire company which is in your midst will fall into the midst of the seas on the day of your ruin. The common land will shake at the sound of the cry of your pilots. All who handle the oar, the mariners, all the pilots of the sea will come down from their ships and stand on the shore. They will make their voice heard because of you. They will cry bitterly and cast dust on their heads. They will roll about in ashes. They will shave themselves completely bald because of you, gird themselves with sackcloth and weep for you with bitterness of heart and bitter wailing. In their wailing for you, they will take up lamentation and lament for you. What city is like Tyre, destroyed in the midst of the sea? When your wares went out by sea, you satisfied many people. You enriched the kings of the earth with your many luxury goods and your merchandise. But you are broken by the seas in the depths of the waters. Your merchandise and the entire company will fall in your midst. All the inhabitants of the isles will be astonished at you. Their kings will be greatly afraid, and their countenance will be troubled. Man, this is what happens when Babylon falls too. That's why there's a very, very close relationship between the two, correlation between the two. The merchants among the peoples will hiss at you. You will become a horror and be no more forever. Because see, the thing about it is that because Tyre was such a center for business, everybody was becoming, all the merchants of the world were being able to get a piece of that. They were able to benefit off of that. So it was a big deal for Tyre to be destroyed, because Tyre, I submit, was the center of the economy for the whole known world. So Tyre get destroyed, that's going to shake up everything, everywhere. Same thing with America, y'all. Same thing with the U.S. Yeah, once the judgment comes, like, very strongly against the economy here, that's going to shake the economy of the whole world, because the whole world surrounds around the U.S. economy. The whole world economy does. It does. It does, y'all. Let me show y'all something. All right. So the United States, this is let me see if I can pull this up. I want y'all to see this so y'all can understand how this is looking on I can show y'all, share my screen. Let me do this. It might be hard for y'all to see this, huh? Let me see. I'll zoom in. I don't know how to zoom in. See, how do I do this? All right, there we go. All right. Told out for your patience. I figured it out. Okay. There we go. I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to read this along so y'all can see. As y'all see, this is on the government website. This is ustr.gov. So this ain't no Wikipedia, okay? It says the United States is the second largest goods exporter in the world, y'all, behind only China. U.S. goods exports to the world total $2.1 trillion in 2022. Up 17.5% from 2021. All right. Now look at the imports. Look at this, y'all. The United States is the largest good importer in the world. The U.S. is number one in the world, y'all, as far as importing goods and services, Ms. Baca. U.S. is the largest importer in the world. U.S. goods imports from the world totaled $3.2 trillion in 2022, up 14.6% from 2021. The United States is the largest services exporter in the world. The United States is the largest services importer in the world. The list goes on and on and on. I think y'all get the picture. I think y'all get the point. So why am I bringing this up? I want y'all to see this because when the Most High does a judgment, I didn't see that. Manu already had showed me. I didn't even see that. I told her about in honest. I had Googled it, fam. I had Googled it and figured it out. But this is the point. When Yahuwah judges the U.S., do y'all see how that's going to affect the whole world? When the U.S. is the number one importer in the world, the number two exporter in the world, the number one importer of services, the number one exporter of services in the world. Trillions and trillions of dollars. The world economy surrounds around the United States, Mr. Parker. That was Tyre. That was Tyre. All right. The merchants among the peoples will hiss at you. You will become a horror and be no more forever. You will become a horror and be no more forever. That's huge, y'all. Let's keep going. The word of Yahuwah came to me again, saying, Son of man, say to the prince of Tyre, thus says Adon Aluah, because your heart is lifted up, and you say, I am an Aluah. Man, hold on. So now he's talking to the king of Tyre. He says, because your heart is lifted up, and you say, I am a Aluah, I sit in the seat of Elohim in the midst of the seas, yet you are a man and not an Aluah. Though you set your heart as the heart of Aluah. Behold, you are wiser than, look what it says. Behold, you are wiser than Daniel. What? So what is this showing? This is showing that Ezekiel knew Daniel, and he knew who he was. I'm not saying that he knew him personally, but Daniel was well known at this point in time. Daniel was probably still around at this time. He probably was still around. He said, behold, you are wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that can be hidden from you. What? With your wisdom and your understanding, you have gained riches for yourself and gathered gold and silver into your treasuries. By your great wisdom in trade, you have increased your riches. Man, look at this. And your heart is lifted up because of your riches. That's that's almost every CEO, CIO. Man, look. Man, this is deep. Therefore, thus says Adon Aluah, because you have set your heart as the heart of an Aluah. Behold, therefore, I will bring strangers against you, the most terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of your wisdom and defile your splendor. So Yahuwah is going to use Nebuchadnezzar for this. They shall throw, actually not just Nebuchadnezzar, but other nations. Even when you look historically, after this, y'all, Nebuchadnezzar is going to destroy Tyre. He's going to come against Tyre, but then also the Grecians end up coming against Tyre, the Romans. After this, they just become a plunder for the nations. Like, for real. So it's pretty interesting when you see this. Verse 8, they shall throw you down into the pit, and you shall die the death of the slain in the midst of the seas. Will you still say before him who slays you, I am an Aluah? Man, but you shall be a man and not an Aluah in the hand of him who slays you. Ooh, man. You shall die the death of the uncircumcised by the hand of aliens. That's probably, is that Goyim or Gentiles? Let me see. At the hand of aliens. Maybe strangers. Let's see. Gar, which would be strangers. Oh, Zer, okay. For I have spoken, says Adon Aluah. Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation for the king of Tyre, and say to him, thus says Adon Aluah, you are the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of Aluah. Hold on now. We see an Eden mentioned here again. What's going on here? Every precious stone was your covering. The sardis, topaz, and diamond, beryl, onyx, and jasper, sapphire, turquoise, and emerald with gold. The workmanship of your timbrels and pipes. What? The king of Tyre? The workmanship of your timbrels and pipes was prepared for you on the day you were created. You are the anointed cherub who covers. So now, this prophecy against the king of Tyre, he's being called a cherub? Most of us are familiar with this passage. This is talking about Hasatan, y'all. It's talking about the dragon. That's who was behind Tyre, was Hasatan. That's who was behind the king of Tyre, and that's who is behind Babylon, and that's who is behind Babylon today. You were the anointed cherub. So the anointed, that's like Mashach. That's like a Mashiach. You was an anointed cherub. You are the anointed cherub who covers. Let's look at this. Yeah, this is important. Let me go up some. So this is about Hasatan, because it says here, you were in Eden, the garden of Elua. So that was the serpent, right? He was in Eden. He was in the garden. And he deceived Kawah, or Eve. You know, we know the story in Bereshit. He said, every precious stone was your covering. So this is important because when you read the stones, it talks about the sardis, topaz, and diamond, beryl, onyx, etc., etc. And that's the breastplate of the high priest. Yahuwah commanded the high priest to wear these things. The sardis, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx. Like, we can look at this. I mean, you just go to Exodus. I believe it's around Exodus 28. Yeah, garment to the priesthood. You can look at it right here. Exodus 28, verse. Let's see. Here we go, verse 15. Look at this. You shall make the breastplate of judgment, artistically woven according to the workmanship of the ephod. You shall make it of gold, blue, purple, scarlet thread, and fine woven linen. You shall make it, shall be doubled in a square, span its length, etc., etc. But here it goes, the important part, verse 17. And you shall put settings of stones, and in 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a sardis, a topaz, an emerald. These are the same jewels that was in it says that Hasatan was covered by. This shall be the first row. The second row shall be a turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond. The third row a jacinth, the agate, and the amethyst. The fourth row a beryl, and onyx, and a jasper. They shall be in gold settings. And the stones shall have the names of the sons of Yisrael, 12 according to their names, like the engravings of a signet, each one with its own name. They shall be according to the 12 tribes. Going back to Ezekiel 28. That's interesting. That was on Exodus 28. Going back to Ezekiel 28. And it says, every precious stone was your covering, the sardis, topaz, diamond, beryl, onyx, and jasper, sapphire, turquoise, and emerald with gold. So what this is showing is that Hasatan had some sort of priestly function at one point in time. That Hasatan, he had some sort of priestly role. And so no wonder Hasatan has an issue with the children of Israel, because Yahuwah gave that function to the children of Israel through the priesthood. And he said, okay, Aaron, I need you to wear this breastplate that has these jewels on it. And you're going to be in charge of handling the Kodesh things, and you're going to come in before me and minister. Think about it. The high priest, who wears the breastplate, is the only one who can go in the Holy of Holies. Look what it says here. about Hasatan. It says that Hasatan, verse 14, it says, you are the anointed cherub. Y'all, I don't realize this, but Hasatan was a cherub. That's different than just any angel. The cherub is a high-ranking guardian type angel. They were like the highest of the highest ranked. It was a cherub who guarded Eden. That's probably why it took cherubim to guard Eden with flaming swords. It says, you were the anointed cherub who covers. That word covers is sukkah or sukkat, from what I remember. We'll pull it up right now. Very easy. Pull it up. Sukkak, yeah. But that comes from, it's like Sukkot or Sukkah. It's covering like a tent. You're the anointed cherub who covers. So what this is showing, because when you go to the Holy of Holies, I can show you this real quick. It's easy. It's real easy and quick. If you go to cherub, H3742, and we're going to look what they talked about in the Shemot regarding the Holy of Holies. Here it goes. So that's Exodus 25. Look at this. This is regarding the Ark of the Covenant. Look at this. And you shall make 2 cherubim of gold, of hammered work. You shall make them at the 2 ends of the mercy seat. This is talking about literally on the Ark of the Covenant, y'all. The mercy seat, I submit, represents the throne seat of Yahuwah. Make 1 cherub at one end and the other cherub at the other end. You shall make the cherubim at the 2 ends of it of one piece with the mercy seat. Now look at this now. Look at this. Y'all, I want y'all to really look at this. And the cherubim shall stretch out their wings above, covering the mercy seat with their wings. Remember that Ezekiel prophesied and said that you were the anointed cherub who does what? Who covereth. You are the anointed cherub who covers. What does that mean? This is what it means, y'all. In verse 20, Yahuwah had Bezalel of Yehuda to build the Ark of the Covenant, and there was to be 2 cherubim, one on each side, and the cherubim wings had to stretch out to cover. So I submit what this is showing is that Hasatan literally was one of the cherubim that was at the throne of Yahuwah. Because the Ark of the Covenant and those cherubims, those were a picture of things that were in the Shamayim. That was a shadow of the things that was going on in the Shamayim, y'all. Remember, Yahuwah showed Ezekiel the cherubim in the chapter 1. Ezekiel seen a vision of the cherubim who had huge wings that were loud. Hasatan was one of the cherubim at the throne seat whose wings covered, y'all. It says, and the cherubim shall stretch out their wings above, covering the mercy seat with their wings. Let's keep going. Says you are the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, a garden of Allure. Every precious stone was your covering. Man, you had it all. Like, man, you had it all. The workmanship of your timbrels and pipes. So that's actually alluding that he was a specialist in praise and worship. Timbrels, y'all, man, let me tell y'all something about timbrels. Y'all ain't seen the teachings Malek did back in the day about the timbrels? So the timbrels, they're basically djembes. It's an instrument that you strike with the hand, like some sort of drum type of string, a hitting type of. A djembe is an example of the timbrel. Don't get caught up with the English terms, because remember when you're reading a translation, the people who translated these they weren't familiar with the culture. But when you look at the Hebrew, it's a striking instrument that you strike with the hand. If you're someone in England, you're automatically like, oh yeah, okay, so that's the tambourine or a timbrel. No. In ancient times, there may have been a hand drum that you can hold and strike. You can strike as well, but also the djembe would be under that as well. And the pipes. Y'all hear me out. Man, Hasatan was a specialist on them djembes, man. He was a specialist on the instruments. He was a specialist in worship and music. Yahuwah had created him for that. For praise. That's what he did. So now y'all see why it was such a big deal when you saw people that Yahuwah established to be in charge of praise, worship. You know why? Because that was taking his spot. That's why it was a big deal when you saw now Yahuwah had set up people to himself to wear the breastplate that at one point in time Hasatan had. That's why he hates Israel. That's why he tries to use the nations to come and take your place, because we took his place. He was a cherub that covers the Ark of the Covenant with his wings. Do y'all know that King David did this? King David. So you got the king of Tyre, right, who has Hasatan behind him. Then in contrast, you had someone like the king of Israel, King David, who was powered by Yahuwah, who had Yahuwah behind him, right? See the contrast? You got the king of Tyre had Hasatan behind him, who used to be about praise and worship. Used to be he was great. He had it all, but got kicked out. Then you have King David, the king of Yechezq'El, who was powered by Yahuwah, who Yahuwah set up to cover. David literally had it. Malek Yehusha talks about this a lot, that David literally had his own tabernacle. That's what, when it says he's an anointed cherub that covered, that word is sukkah, which comes from sukkah, a tent. That's why when we keep Sukkot, that's like a tent. You see what I'm saying? David literally made his own tent and made a tent for the Ark of the Covenant, y'all. So you can say that David was an anointed king who covereth. Just like he moved like a cherub in the way that he moved. He was huge with praise and worship. He was about praising and worshiping Yahuwah. And he had established this whole order where praise and worship was given up to Yahuwah as an offering. He was a king of Yasharel that Yahuwah was behind, just like the king of Tyre was. Because remember, this message and this prophecy isn't just about Hasatan, it's about the king of Tyre, but it's speaking to the Ruach behind the king of Tyre now. The contrast is amazing. Tribe of Judah, Yada, praise. Y'all were supposed to be set up. Those who were chosen to take his place. Unfortunately, there are some who move like Hasatan, even in Yechezq'El, because they had a position. They were, man, we see this in the assemblies. A person who had a position, he was, through in the assemblies, doing well at a time, and then iniquity was found in them, and they had to leave. And then they become adversaries to the Most High's order because of that, based off of bitterness, based off of things like that, and become adversaries, and literally are moving like Hasatan and don't even think about it. That's exactly what Hasatan did. Hasatan was, he was set up. He had the position. He was leading in the worship. He was before the throne room. He was anointed cherub who covereth. He did all of that, and then there was iniquity found in him, so Yahuwah kicked him out. He didn't get kicked out for no reason. He didn't. He didn't, y'all. Iniquity was found in him. Pride was found in him. All kind of stuff. He tried to devise. He literally tried to set up a whole insurrection against Yahuwah. He did. Y'all read the scriptures. He tried to turn the other celestials against Yahuwah, and he turned many. This literally happens in the assemblies, Mishpaka. So he got kicked out. Y'all, there were people in the tribes, y'all, who literally were trying to turn people against the leadership, turn people against the Meleks, raise up whole insurrections against leaders in the tribes, their wives, things like that. So they got removed. So they got kicked out. And then because of that, they decide to come against and be an adversary against Yahuwah's order instead of being repentant and trying to turn and make sure that they're moving in a righteous way before Yahuwah, lest they be judged. Instead of doing that, they become an adversary. Hasatan, yeah, that's what Hasatan means, the adversary against Yahuwah's order. And start actively doing things to try to come against. See, people don't realize, like, if you come against Yahuwah's people, the Most High looks at that as you're coming against him. That's how it works. I just don't know what scriptures some of y'all reading, man. I don't know what scripture some of y'all reading. Moving like Hasatan, can't even see it. Blinded by pride, blinded by iniquity. Let's keep going. The workmanship of your timbrels and pipes was prepared for you on the day you were created. You are the anointed cherub who covers. I established you. You are on the Kodesh mountain of Alua. Man, you walk back and forth in the midst of fiery stones. Man, you are perfect in your ways from the day you were created till iniquity was found in you. I kind of went ahead earlier. All right, but yeah, till iniquity was found in you. As you see, he was through until there was iniquity found in him. Y'all can be doing well, can be flourishing, but when there's iniquity found in you, that's what it is. This is not church. You're not going to be able to dwell amongst the Kodesh people of Yahuwah and his Kodesh assemblies moving in iniquity. Bakir Yamin Manu had brought this up before as far as what the meaning of iniquity is. That's willingly moving in sin. Dwelling amongst the assemblies, but actively in fornication. Dwelling amongst the assemblies, but actively in adultery. Actively in rebellion. Yeah, I know in church, you know, you can get away with that. That's kind of, I know, I understand that. I can't even trip. I know back when I was in church, man, sin was taken very lightly. So I would be in church, I'll be at the club, and then go to church the next day, you know, and things like that. And anything I did wrong, I just asked for forgiveness, and I just thought I was through, you know. That was the indirect understanding that was being brought forth in many churches. Some were more strict than others, but at least with, you know, the ones I was in, that was generally and they didn't say it directly, but indirectly, that was how what we thought. That's how we were understood. You know, because I'm going to church, I'm through. I'm going. Be all up in fornication, all up in all kind of sins and iniquity, but man, I'm going to church though. I'm asking for forgiveness. I'm working on it. Like, that was the mindset. It ain't like when you're in the real assemblies of Yahuwah, it don't move like that. It never was like that. You just got to read the scriptures. So you can't get bitter if you did something. You moved in rebellion. You moved in iniquity. You moved in sin. You moved in wickedness. And Yahuwah did not want you to remain in his assembly anymore. You should be, if that happens, you should be super humble and doing your best to be in repentance. So lest Yahuwah cast you all the way out, period. You should be in fasting and prayer and humbling yourself that Yahuwah gives you another chance and remains with you so that you can move forward in Yahuwah and Yahusha. Not trying to become an adversary to his people because of things you don't understand. That is a Hasatan move, y'all. That is what Hasatan did. Don't think you can lean on your own understanding either. You try to lean on your own understanding, you try to go on what you think is right in your own eyes, and you're going to find yourself on the wrong side, Mishpaka. And when you read the scriptures, the majority of the time, the majority of the people were on the wrong side. It was only the minority who stayed on the right side. We don't realize that the majority of the people in the wilderness, thousands, was on Korah's side. Korah, yeah. Korah's rebellion in Torah. Yeah, it's easy for us to read it in hindsight and be like, man, Korah was wicked. Not realizing you was moving the same way as, you might have been moving the same way as Korah. Like, this stuff is crazy, man. Verse 16, by the abundance of your trading, you became filled with violence within, and you sinned. Therefore I cast you as a profane thing out of the mountain of Alua. Yeah, he got kicked out. It's the same thing with us when we were in the promised land. We were in the promised land. Yahuwah blessed us to make it to the promised land. We were flourishing during the days of David, King David. We was a nation. We was flourishing. We was a world power. Then Solomon came. We was powerful. We was moving forward. We was a world power. We was an empire in a sense, for lack of a better term. An empire for Yahuwah's name. And then basically, over time, iniquity was found within the nation. We started moving in the ways of the other nations. We started moving in iniquity and sin, and Yahuwah kicked us out. That's the way this works. That's the allure we serve. He kicked us out of the promised land. That's why we ended up here in captivity. That's the way it works. What you want people to do? You want people to go against Yahuwah for you. Yahuwah said, I want this person out. You want people to go against the Most High for you. That ain't going to happen. Most High forbid that ever happens. Serve Yahuwah, guard his commandments, worship him in spirit and in truth, heed his laws, heed his ways, submit, move forward in Ruach and in truth, and his Ruach HaKodesh. Serve him, be humble, be repentant, and you will never have no issues like that. I guarantee it. You will be through. You will flourish. You will ascend. Everybody know that, but it seems like everybody don't know that. Mind-boggling, y'all. Let's keep going. We almost done. Therefore I cast you as a profane thing out of the mountain of Alua, and I destroyed you, O covering cherub, from the midst of the fiery stones. Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. That's what it is. It's always pride, y'all, that causes people to just be out there, be tripping. I cast you to the ground. I laid you before kings that they might gaze at you. You defiled your sanctuaries by the multitude of your iniquities, by the iniquity of your trading. See, there was iniquity in his businesses. There was y'all, Hasatan be behind this. That's why all the corporations are in all kind of iniquity, by the way that they do business, by the way that they exploit and oppress people through business. Y'all don't realize this, but even the slave trade was done because of commerce and business. These were businessmen. These were corporations who pushed the slave trade in a sense. You know, we wouldn't call them corporations back then, but just to put things in the real world terms. These were businessmen that were all over the slave trade, that were benefiting the most out of the slave trade. Who funded the ships? Who did these things? We don't talk about that. These were major businessmen who were benefiting greatly. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. They were benefiting the most, though, for lack of a better word right now. Let's keep going. You defile your sanctuaries by the multitude of your iniquities, by the iniquity of your trade, and therefore I brought fire from your midst. It devoured you, and I turned you to ashes upon the arets in the sight of all who saw you. All who knew you among the peoples are astonished at you. You have become a horror and shall be no more forever. Man. Then the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, Son of man, set your face towards Sidon and prophesy against her, and say, Thus says Adon Alua, Behold, I am against you, O Sidon. I will be glorified. So Tyre and Sidon were like sister cities. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like maybe Los Angeles and Compton. Austin, San Antonio would probably be a better example. There were sister cities, though. They were right by each other. So it says, Behold, I'm against you, O Sidon. I will be glorified in your midst, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah when I execute judgments in her and am hallowed in her. For I will send pestilence upon her and blood in her streets. The wounded shall be judged in her midst by the sword against her on every side. Then they shall know that I am Yahuwah, and there shall no longer be a pricking briar or a painful thorn for the house of Israel from among all who are around them, who despise them. Like, listen, like, Do y'all really want to be do you want to be a pricking briar or a painful thorn to the Kodashim? Like it goes back to what we were talking about. The other nations were always judged based on how they dealt with Yasharel. That's what this is showing. And Yahuwah's like, there will no more be these pricking briars or painful thorns for the house of Israel. Y'all remember when Paul talked about there was a thorn in the side and nobody ever really knows what it is. But he talked about a thorn in his side. And it does make you wonder if it has something to do with something surrounding the other nations or something, because there was more than once where the other nations were explained as being a thorn, like a thorn in Israel. You know what I'm saying? And there shall no longer be a pricking briar or a painful thorn for the house of Israel from among all who are around them, who despise them. Then they shall know that I am Adon Alua. Thus says Adon Alua, when I have gathered the house of Israel from the peoples among whom they are scattered. Listen now, this is after he talked about Tyre, the judgments of Tyre. This is after, the judgment. He talked about Hasatan and the king of Tyre. And then he talks about the judgments that's coming up on Sidon. Then he says, thus says Adon Alua, when I have gathered the house of Israel from the peoples among whom they are scattered. This is what's happening now. This is where we at now. And am hallowed in them in the sight of the nations. This is what's happening, Mishpaka. This is where we at. Then they will dwell in their own land, which I gave to my servant Yaakov. And they will dwell safely there, build houses and plant vineyards. Yes, they will dwell securely when I execute judgments on all those around them who despise them. Man. Then they shall know that I am Yahuwah their Alua. Man. Man, y'all, this heavy. Yahuwah to be praised, though. Yahuwah to be praised. Let me see what y'all got. Let's see here. Cody said, I said, hey, Shema, Yashara, Yahusha, Lakam, La Shalom. That is the jam, man. That is the jam. Oh, hallelujah, Ima Yasha, hallelujah. Yeah, my artwork is, dude. Yeah. All right, Team MZ said, would it be talking about ancient Tyre or a future civilization like Tyre, or maybe both? And Team MZ, that is an excellent question, because I submit to you that it is indeed both. See, Tyre is that's what this is. This is modern day Tyre, because it's powered by the same entity. It's powered by Hasatan. It's the same thing with Babylon. So I'm gonna pull this up real quick. So Babylon was a nation that was surrounded around commerce, business, import and export, all those things like that. And so if you look here, Revelation 18, this is about the judgment on Babylon. It says, he cried mightily with a loud voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen to become a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hated bird. Why would this become a dwelling place of demons? Because, man, Hasatan behind this place, man. It's a Hasatan behind this place, man. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and her merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. So this is really specifically about this Babylon, modern day Babylon. This is a prophecy in Revelation 18. I did go through this when we went through Revelation, about 6 months ago, roughly 5-6 months ago. But that's what everybody's becoming rich off of Babylon. That's how it was with Tyre. And that's why I was showing y'all how America's the number one when it comes to trade and export. It's the number one in imports, number one in services import, number one in services export. I believe it's number two and regular exports, et cetera, et cetera. It's the U.S. is the center of the world economy. It's the U.S. that buys everything from everybody and sells everything to everybody. That's what that means. To put it in common terms, the United States is who buys everything from everybody more than anybody else and sells everything to everybody. So if the U.S. economy is shut down, all these people who are becoming rich from all the world around the world from the U.S. are going to crash. The world economy will crash, y'all. Let's keep going. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, unless you receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached to the Shamaim, and the Lord has remembered her iniquity." So that's why it's important to come out of Babylon, because Babylon surrounds around business, commerce, etc. That's why one of the reasons why I submit to you, Yahushua has said it is harder for a rich man to make it into the Shamaim than for the camel to go through the eye of a needle, because the riches is based around the business, the commerce, and the systems around of Babylon. That's what we get attached to. That's what our souls get joined to, because these businesses are associated with principalities, Mishpaka. You saw the king of Tyre had Hasatan behind him. And so their businesses are attached to these entities too. And what happens is your soul gets knitted to them. And that's why we've been seeing this in the assemblies, man. Like, people with a lot of possessions, they have a hard time really being able to just try to serve Yahuwah 100%. If you're tied into Babylon, as far as real bad, to where you have a lot of possessions, a lot of wealth, it's hard for you to try to serve the Most High in fullness. It's not impossible, but it's extremely difficult. And we've seen a lot of people who just couldn't do it. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of people, but we've seen people, they just couldn't do it. They love Babylon too much. They do. They can't do it. They can't choose Yahuwah over Babylon. They just can't do it, because they've benefited too much off of this system. Yeah, I know all my other people are downtrodden and poor, but I figured out a way to make it out here, man. You feel me? I'm a millionaire, man. I'm through. I can't get this up, man, for Yahuwah. What? It's real. And so that's why when Yahushua came up to the rich young ruler, he told him, like, you doing okay? Give up all your possessions and come and follow me. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, Yahushua, I submit, was given the rich young ruler an opportunity to be one of his disciples. Literally, Yahushua was given the young rich ruler an opportunity to be another Kepha or Yachanan or Luke. I don't think we realized that. And he turned it down because he couldn't give up his possessions? What? And we think that's real crazy when we see that. But yet, a lot of us do the same thing, Ms. Parker. So blinded by your possessions that you don't see that you have something way more valuable than that. Oh my goodness. Billions and trillions of zeons more valuable than your possessions, and you still can't choose that over your possessions. Babylon done a number. So yeah, the rich young ruler, he missed it. And I'm telling y'all, I bet he is, I don't know where he's at, but wherever he's at, he might have made it and was just one of the least in the kingdom. Wherever he made it at, I guarantee he probably, extremely, extremely regretful for making that decision. Don't be Like once this kingdom starts shooting forth, don't be one of those that had a chance, y'all. But because you couldn't get out of yourself, or because you couldn't get out of this, come out of Babylon, you chose the world over Yahuwah in a certain area, and now you see the kingdom here, and now you are you ready to. I mean, you were so filled with regret. You ready to commit suicide or something. You just can't. You can't live with yourself because you know you gave up everything to serve this to be in this wicked world, because you just didn't have the immunah to choose Yahuwah over everything. Don't be that person. This kingdom coming, Mishpaka. The kingdom here. It don't matter what you believe, whether you believe it or not. This is what it is. It's here. It's coming, y'all. It's here and it's coming. And your position in this kingdom is all going to depend on you and how you moving right now. Once it's all the way here, it's going to be too late. No, it's dependent on how your choices you make now. For her sins have reached the Shamaim, and the Lord has remembered her iniquity. Rendered to her as she rendered to you, and repair double according to her works, and the couple which she has mixed double for her. So we're going to skip down to this point right here. Verse 9. It says, the kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived luxuriously with her will weep and lament for her. That was the same thing with Tyre. Like the merchants of the earth would hiss at her, it said. It's regarding Tyre. The kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived luxuriously with her will weep and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning, standing at a distance for fear of her torment. Alas, the great city Babylon, the mighty city, for the 1 hour your judgment has come. Now look at this. And the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, for no one buys their merchandise anymore. Remember, I showed y'all that the United States is literally the number 2 exporter of the world. Everybody's buying the merchandise of the United States. They're number 2 in the world, y'all. Only to China. The merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, for no one buys their merchandise anymore. Merchandise of gold, silver, precious stones, pearls, fine linen, purple silk, scarlet, every kind of citron wood, every kind of object of ivory, every kind of object of precious wood, bronze, iron, and marble, cinnamon and incense, fragrant oil, frankincense, wine, and oil, fine flour, and wheat, cattle, sheep, horses, chariots, and bodies. Oh, snap. And souls of men. That's slaves, y'all. But you notice it says, and bodies and souls of man. Malek Yahusha was bringing this out, that this is, so and bodies is probably slaves. The souls of men, this is the nefeshes of men. That's what's causing people to choose Babylon over Yahuwah, is their nefesh, because Babylon is literally snatching the nefeshes of men. Their souls, the very seat of their desires, their nefesh, their souls are joined to these ways of Babylon, joined to the ways of perversion and wickedness and the things of Babylon, to where they can't disattach their soul from this place, man. Because it's like you got a soul tie with Babylon. That's why you cannot be passive about coming out of her. You gotta be aggressive about coming out of Babylon. You gotta be aggressive about it. Disattaching your nefesh from this place. The fruit that your soul longed for has gone from you, and all the things which are rich and splendid have gone from you, and you shall find them no more. The merchants of these things who became rich by her will stand at a distance for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. And I think y'all get the point. So it's just like the same, it's Tyre, same thing. Why? Because they're powered by the same entity. It's just in a different time. So Tyre was basically the Babylon during that time. The U.S. is basically, or the Western powers, not just the U.S., is basically Babylon during this time. It's powered by the same entity, so they're doing the same things. is built on a foundation of bodies and souls of men, just like Babylon and Revelation. The same was the case with Tyre. So, all right, let's keep going. All right. Team MZ said, I think knowing the true names in Paleo Hebrew would tell us more about these judgments, like how Babylon is really Babel, which means confusion. Yeah, no, this always gives you a deeper understanding by breaking down the Hebrew. Absolutely. Yeah, modern day Lebanon, Yeah, y'all right on it. I am his. Yeah, that's that region is modern day Lebanon. Let's see. Team MZ said the scripts do make sounds though, which can be interpreted. Right, but you got to make a distinction between a script and an actual language. So I was trying to make an example. So English, English uses a script. Now English is a language, but it uses a script, and I don't know what the script is called. I guess they call it an English script. I don't know. But Spanish, German, many different languages uses the same script that we use in English. Many different languages do. So just because you see somebody using this script that we use today, it doesn't mean that they're speaking English. It doesn't. And that's similar was the case back then. Paleo Hebrew was not only Israelites using that script, what we call it. That's why other nations, they actually don't call it Paleo Hebrew. They'll call it the Phoenician script, because the Phoenicians used the same exact script, but they were not speaking Hebrew. They weren't. They were speaking a different language. So, this is just, some things to, just some understanding there, just some things to look at. Let's see here. Benjamin Rosen said, I thought you needed to avoid the J word to prevent this video from being, I don't know what word I use. Yeah, I might need to see you to see it. I know I kind of, okay, I know what you're talking about. Yep, I know what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah, this ain't monetized at all, this just, But I might need to go and look into that though. I kind of was going in, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. Team MZ said, is there any proof that the Phoenicians spoke another language than ancient Israelites? They used the same script, but was it a different language? It was a different language. So those were the Assyrians. There is a scripture that shows, let me show you this scripture. This is just an example, okay? Well, I'm not gonna go there. But again, this is not so let me say this. This is not answering your question or proving that the Phoenicians spoke a different language other than ancient Israel or ancient Hebrew. But what this is showing is that different people in that region spoke different languages. So the Assyrians, they came up during the days of Hezekiah. You can read about it in, is it the Kings? I can't even remember right now, but I'm just going to explain it for time. He came in and he was speaking in a different language. And then he started speaking in Hebrew, basically coming against Israel, trying to, basically, he was trying to, he was they called him the Rabshakeh. And he was coming to try to encourage the people to rebel against Hezekiah, basically, and to submit to them and submit to the Assyrians. Yes, in 2 Kings. Let me see if I can just at least find a good one or two verses just to show you what I'm talking about, because it's kind of hard to explain. Yeah, let me just show you this one verse. This couple of verses here. 2 Kings 18, and then I'm gonna go to verse 26. So this is during the days of Hezekiah. So this is the Assyrians. They came and they were basically going against Israel, they were trying to coerce the people to rebel against Hezekiah. It says here, then Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, Shebna, and Joah said to the Rabshakeh, please speak to your servants in Aramaic, for we understand it, and do not speak to us in Hebrew in the hearing of the people who are on the wall. But the Rabshakeh said to them, has my master sent me to your master and to you to speak these words, and not to the men who sit on the wall, who will eat and drink their own waste with you? Then the Rabshakeh stood and called out with a loud voice in Hebrew and spoke, saying, hear the word of the great king, the king of Assyria. And then that's when he started going against, trying to get the people to go against Hezekiah. So all that's showing is just that the people in the region, they spoke different languages. That's all that's showing. It's showing that the Assyrians, they spoke, they spoke Aramaic, you know what I'm saying? But you also will see that, I believe actually the Babylonians spoke Aramaic too. See what I'm saying? And that's what I was talking about earlier. When you get to the Brit Hadashah, a lot of them spoke Aramaic all the way up into the days of the Brit Hadashah. But that's not Hebrew. But the script that was used to speak Hebrew was the same script that they were using to speak for Aramaic as well, which was what we call the biblical Hebrew script. It was the same script that was used in Aramaic. So I mean, it's just a small example. Judges 12:6. Let me see what that says. Oh yeah, with the shibboleth. Yeah, that was more of a dialect, a different dialect. They were speaking the same language, but they had a different dialect. It's kind of like people in New York. They'll speak one way, like Mushal Kawal, yo, I'm saying, yo, word up. But you come down to Texas, we all speak English, but down here we don't say word up or nothing like that. We just speak a little differently. It's still English, but it's a different dialect. So as soon as I met Mushal Kawal, I'm like, man, you from New York or somewhere on the East Coast, huh? You could tell, because of the dialect. And so that's how it was in Judges 12. They can tell you was from the Northern Kingdom by how you pronounce certain words, your dialect. And so they were testing people to have you, say this word. And they knew, okay, yeah, nah, you can't, nah, we know where you from. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But yeah, Team MZ, to answer your question directly, is there any proof that the Phoenicians spoke another language other than ancient Israelites? That would take some digging. I don't know if there's any clear proof in the scriptures at all. Because we know that they spoke multiple languages. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Jezebel was a daughter of the king of Tyre. I forgot about that. Man, that's an important point. Jezebel was a daughter of the king of Tyre, Mishpaka. She was. So Jezebel was from Tyre. This is just showing the relationship that Israelites had over time, from time to time with Tyre. They were a neighbor. Jezebel, King Ahab was a king of Yechezq'El. He went and married one of the daughters of the nobility of Tyre, and she was going to go down as one of the most wicked wives ever in all the scriptures. Yeah, she'll go down not just one of the most wicked wives, she probably might go down as one of the most wicked people. And we know why, because you know who was behind the king of Tyre. So who you think is going to be behind her children, his children? And King Ahab straight married her, man. And what was she doing? She was moving as an adversary in Israel. She was killing the prophets, y'all. Killing the prophets of Yahuwah. She was literally moving as Hasatan within the nation. She was a daughter of the king of Tyre, y'all. I forgot about that. That's crazy, man. All right, anyway. Cody Selah said, it was so interesting to see. Oh, but what I was going to say on that is that, so that does show that they knew different languages. They knew how to, they were able to speak to each other. We know that's why they were doing trade with each other. But, Phoenicians, their primary language being Hebrew? Nah. Edom, their primary language being Hebrew? I doubt that seriously. Moab? Nah, these nations, they had their own primary language, but then they were able to speak to each other. A lot of these people spoke multiple languages. So that's why that example that I showed you, the dude knew multiple languages. They asked him, "Hey man, can you please speak in Hebrew? Please speak in Aramaic. Don't speak in Hebrew." And he spoke even louder in Hebrew, so that the people can understand him. But all right, let's keep going. So Cody Selah said it was so interesting to see because Nebuchadnezzar definitely was an idol worship. So Yahuwah's relationship with him was interesting. That's very interesting. Very interesting, yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting. But this is the thing that goes back to what Malek was saying. That a big part of how Yahuwah judges the other nations is based on how they move with Yechezq'El. That's a big part of it. All right, Benjamin Roseman said Yahuwah, and I'm not saying that means they got a green light to worship idols, though. I ain't saying that. But in general, how they move with Yechezq'El is really a big part of how they being judged based off of, because that covenant just ain't there with them. But Benjamin Roseman said, Yahuwah can and will whatever or whoever he wants. Hence the verse about the donkey. Khan. Yeah, I guess I think what you try to say is that Yahuwah, he'll deal with whoever he wants. And he'll speak to whoever he wants. That's real. Kerry Lamar Richardson said, Khan, Daniel chapter 4, a foreign king praised the Most High. Khan. That's it. Cody Selah said, I would say that Yahuwah used Babylon like America. Like Malek Yahusha said, the only reason America has lasted this long is because Yahuwah needed a prison for his people. Man, that's deep. That's deep right there. Team MZ said, I wonder if world leaders today are receiving dreams from Yahuwah but choose to dismiss them. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised because it happened multiple times in the scriptures. You know, Pharaoh. There was a time when if y'all remember the story of Abraham, where Yahuwah had showed Pharaoh that he was moving wrong with Abraham, and Pharaoh hurried up and let him go. You know, so man, yeah, I can see that, but you know, I don't know, because even in those times, I believe that even at that time, during the days of Abraham was surprised. No, that was Isaac when Abimelech was showing that he feared Alua. But even with Abraham, you know, these leaders feared Alua. Even though they might not have been fully serving him 100%, they wasn't trying to play with Yahuwah. You know, they wasn't on that level at all. You know, as soon as they found out they was moving wrong with the Most High, they hurried up and tried to get it right, make it right. You see what I'm saying? So, Hey, it's very possible. Kimberly Lamar Richardson says, Selah Khan, Leviticus 26:16. I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror. Man. Yeah, he be bringing out them precepts. It's for real. As McCorkle said, puts me in the mind of America. Khan, that's it. Ema Oriel said, shalom and blessings, double honor, Mushah. Shalom, Ema. Shalom, shalom. Benjamin Roseman said, none of the many other nations rejoiced at Yasharel's downfall. This is a pretty huge judgment. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, told our Cody Selah. Yeah, the elephantine papyrus for the pictograph Hebrew. Cody Selah said, Mushah, you must be close to my father's age. He also was in Germany with my grandfather. Khan, all praise to the Most High. Hey, yeah, man. That's dude, small world. It might have been the same region because it wasn't that big out there. There's been times where I met people who stayed where I was at down here on the same base we was at and everything. Kimberly Lamar Richardson said, was it the annex of Texas? So I guess you can call it that. I'll call it an invasion of Texas because it wasn't like, it was pretty forced. It wasn't like, Mexico willingly just giving over Texas. It was pretty forced. I mean, there was some diplomatic stuff and paperwork done, and there was things like that, but overall, it was pretty much forced. Cody said, I had no idea. Oh, that's when I'm here said Kelly is closed. I was stationed there. Okay, and I think that was in San Antonio, wasn't it? I think I remember that name. Cody said, I had no idea, and I surely did not pay attention in American history, but now the movie Civil War makes more sense. Oh, okay, was that the movie with Will Smith? Oh, I'm not familiar with that one. Angie P said, Randolph, Fort Salmon, Lackland. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Oh, there got to be Ema Angie, because I know you was out there. Yeah. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. Shalom and honors to you. Let's see. Benjamin Roseman said, in the movie, Don't Look Up, the businessman was the main person running things. Are y'all talking about the movie Civil War? Yeah, I'm not familiar with that movie. I'm going to have to look it up. Ema Yasha said, how, Sway? Talking about Bill Gates. Nakama Yahoo said, money talks and open doors for Bill Gates. Yeah, that's because they the heads. They the heads of this nation. Kimberly Lamar Richardson said, from 1929 to 1932, during the great market crash, suicide rates in America increased. Man. Yeah, man. Yeah, souls are tied to these corporations. Yeah, that's real. He said, today hackers can shut down water plants for ransom. Yeah, man. Cody said, we cannot eat fish from fresh water sources. It's polluted with mercury. Dang. In Florida. Man, that's crazy. Man. Yeah, we was out there not too long ago. It's pretty nice out there in Florida. Cody Wansina said, the land must not be sold permanently because the land is mine and you reside in my land as foreigners and strangers. Leviticus 25:23. That's it. Shanaim, shalom, Mishpaka, shalom, Barakot. As McCorkle said, nothing new under the sun. That's real. Kimberly Lamar Richardson said it all boils down to the word contract. Yeah, Cody Wansina, you right on it. Yeah, talking about Tyre and stuff. Yeah, sounds similar to Revelation. That's it. Yeah, Revelation 18. Cody said, Ezekiel 27:26. Your oarsmen brought you into many waters, but the east wind broke you in the midst of the seas. The east wind is always measured with destruction. That's it. That's right. All right. Bakir Yamin Manu said, for in 1 hour, such great riches came to nothing. Every shipmaster, all who traveled by ship, sailors, and as many as trade on the sea, stood at a distance and cried out when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what is like this great city? Man, that's it. That's it. That is it, man. For real. Cody Wansina said, so I have a question. Was Israel supposed to trade with the other nations? So that's a great question, and the answer is Khan. So Israel was indeed allowed to trade with the other nations. Dawood actually did it the right way. He worked with Tyre to get they had the best products at the time. So yeah, he worked with them to get the cedar and the things that were best to build with. He had the means, the money, but he used his dominion to do that. He didn't try to. You got to do it without compromise. See, because that's the thing is that the temptation is to compromise and to move in their ways. When you start dealing with them on a regular basis with commerce and business, the temptation is to start getting enamored by their ways and start moving like they move. No, it's supposed to be about business only and keep it moving. And in anything, you can, be the influencer, influence them to move in your ways, but you don't start moving in their ways. And what happened was with Solomon is he didn't do like Dawood. He started getting enamored by their ways. See, the reason why do y'all think Solomon started marrying all these women from these other nations? Why did he start worshiping all these other allures and stuff like that? Why did Solomon end up doing it? And I submit to y'all, is because he had all these relationships with all these other nations, and he started getting enamored by their ways and enamored by their women. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. So, but yeah, Khan, I mean, that's a part of having dominion. That's coming back too. Right now, we don't really do trade with other nations as a people. We really don't. We're consumers. Actually, we're the biggest, I think we still are the biggest consumers in Babylon. We buy everything from the other nations, but we're not producing nothing. See, trade is buying and selling. Trade is you importing and exporting goods and services. We ain't really exporting nothing like that. We not, man. I mean, I don't know. I can't really think of nothing that you can really say we are major exporters of anything. We buy it. We buy up everything now. We'll buy up all the nation's products and make them rich. We done made, I know it had to have been us that made Hennessy rich. It had to have been us who primarily done made Nike rich. We be making these corporations wealthy, but we ain't. Yeah, nah, we ain't no trade going on. That's when trade happens, when you start having dominion, and that's what's coming. So that's the mind. We do need to shift our mindset to that level, to where we're actually being a producer of something that we can export to other nations and other countries. A producer of certain things, of products, producing goods and services, being a source for things where the nations have to flow to us for things. Well, you know what? Actually, oh man, this word was set apart as the Kodashim to be exporters of this word. You ain't gonna get this word nowhere else. You ain't gonna get the revelation of the Most High from nowhere else. You're not gonna get it from the other nations. So the other nations are gonna have to start. It's already happening, but it's gonna be happening more and more. Well, the nations there's more and more realizing that the only place they're going to really be able to get the word from is from us. Yahuwah is making it that way. Well, he has made it that way. So it's going to cause the nations to flow to us to continue to flow to us, to be able to get the word of Yahuwah. That's why all the prophets, when you read the scriptures, all these people are from one nation. They're from Israel. Let's keep going. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. Sounds like NSA. Did you mean NASA maybe? There's no secret that they can hide from thee. Cody Wansina said, okay, Melech Musha spoke on this, that the Prince of Tyre was the spirit of Hasatan. That's it. I think I remember that, yeah. Said Khan, nothing new under the sun. That's real. Bakir Yamin Manu broke up. He said Khan, it lines up word for word in the Septuagint, and it does. But you know, that's one of those things you got to look more into, because I do think there's a significance with the difference in the breastplate between Hasatan and the high priest. I think there is some I do believe there's some significance there. That there was more on the high priest for a reason. So there is a variance when you read the Septuagint. It's exactly word for word. But it's one of those things you got to look more into. Let's see here. I am here said that's why he's jealous, because that's what he lost. That's why he's jealous, because that's what he lost. Yeah, Hasatan, yeah. And then I am here said, didn't he lead praises? And Khan, so that scripture about him being a workmanship of the timbrel and the pipes alludes that he was like some sort of leader in praise and worship. Khan. Cody Wansina said, Mushal, you spoke about this when you went through the book of Revelation. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and was glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. She held a golden cup. Man, you right on it, Cody. All praise to Yahuwah. Yeah, you right on it. In her hand filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. That's it. Revelation 17:4. Yeah, y'all right on it. Cody Monsini said Tabernacle of David. That's it. Y'all on it, man. Y'all be on it. That's exactly what it is. The tent of David, the tabernacle of David. The cherub who covereth. He covered the ark literally with a tent. Benjamin Roseman said he technically gave it up. Yeah, technically, yeah, Hasatan, yeah, he gave up his position by moving in iniquity. Yeah, that's real talk, man. I am here said, so now you see, so now you're seeing Hasatan moving on point, but still moving amongst the brethren. Yeah, man. Yeah, I am his. That's real talk. Still in the music industry and still in commerce. Exactly. I'm his. Exactly. Hasatan is still moving in the music industry. That's why in the music industry, especially when you're talking about in the world, stuff being played on the radio, stuff being played on television, is filled with abominations and filthiness and wickedness and lewdness, because who's behind it? Who's behind it? That's why they did some of these people openly worship Hasatan. They do openly, trip you out. But a lot of these people who are big in the music industry, they don't make covenants and deals and oaths and pacts with these other ruach entities, and that's how they're in the music industry. So they're not allowed to be righteous and be successful in the music industry. They don't already make oaths and covenants. They got to be out there and speaking abominations and lewdness and wickedness. They got to. Let's see. Actively in insurrection. Bakir Yamin said, this is through because from the Exodus until today, we as a nation refuse to recognize authority. You can tell who someone's father is by if they recognize authority. Why did Michael have to argue with Hasatan over Moshe's body? Because Hasatan did not recognize who has authority over man. But look at Michael's response. He recognized authority. The heavens move on authority. Man, that's it. Ezekiel 28 is why Michael moved like that with him. Man, that's it. That's right. He right on point. They moved in order. Cody said, I said, hallelujah, Yahuwah was even dealing with me and showing honor to an unrighteous leader in the same context as you would honor wicked parents. Man. Yeah, probably the best example you can think of in the scriptures is King David. Well, everybody know that King Saul was wicked, man. The scriptures even said that there was an evil ruach that was entering into King Saul. But King David would not go against him. He would not rebel against him, Because he's like, man, oh, that's Yahuwah's anointed. So he had he just had an order about him, King David, and a submission about him that was really deep, really important. Kimberly Lamar Richardson said, Khan, one church in particular is preaching this, ain't your grandmama church. Our elders prayed, fasted, and petitioned the Most High for us. That's real. Hasatan is deceiving many on their view and regard their Hasatan is deceiving many on their view and regard their elders. I don't get that part. Hasatan is deceiving many on their view and regard their elders. I don't get that part. It might be a typo. But no, that's a through point though. About this whole idea of, yeah, we're not your grandmama church, you know. We're more cooler. We cool, you know. But yeah, Cody Selah, as far as yeah, it's just a through point. Yeah, dealing with an unrighteous leader. See if I can find the scripture real quick. Yeah, it's Acts 23. Because you see this even in the Brit Hadashah. We talk about King David because he's a great example, but here's another example that's Thub as well. It's Acts chapter 23. I got it on the screen. It says, Then Paul, looking earnestly at the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all Thub conscience before Eluah until this day. And the high priest Ananias commanded those who stood by him to strike him on the mouth. Wow. Then Paul said to him, Eluah will strike you, you whitewashed wall. Man, that's what Paul said to him. For you sit to judge me according to the Torah, and do you command me to be struck contrary to the Torah? And those who stood by said, Do you revile Eluah's high priest? Now look what happened, y'all. Look what Paul did. This is a wicked leader. This is a wicked leader. Look what Paul said here. Then Paul said, I did not know, brethren, that he was the high priest. For it is written, You shall not speak evil of a ruler of your people. So he basically, that's just an example of someone who was dealing with a wicked leader, but he still was like, he actually was relented because he was going in against him for a second, and then he had to relent when he realized, oh snap, this is a high priest. No, I didn't know that. You know, he's like, man, I didn't know that. It's about that order. Let's keep going. Yirmiyahu and Shamayahu said the symbols and trademarks. Yeah, and them corporations. Oh, man, that's real. Benjamin Roseman said, I'd probably have done the same thing. Okay, I don't know what you're referring to on that one. I don't know what thing you're referring to. Kimberly Lamar Richardson said the pearl of great price. Man. Yirmiyahu and Shamayahu said he missed a window. Man, that's it. That's it. The kingdom is here. Cody Selah, hallelujah. Oh, Benjamin Roseman said if I was rich. Oh, so you probably would have done what the rich young ruler would have did, what he did. Well, man, look. A lot of people would have done that. A lot of people would have done that. But you want to be to a point to where you wouldn't do that. That's the goal. You want to be to a point to where you wouldn't do that, man. Because you can miss everything over some possessions. And be like, oh yeah, Lizard just said weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's real. That's so real. Hallelujah, the kingdom is here. Yirmiyahu and Shemayahu said every move is like chess to move Yah's kingdom forward, not our own kingdom, man. That's it. Y'all going in, man. Cody Salah said, now that Yahushua has chosen us, let us not be wasted in a wasted investment. He is so through. I cannot imagine life without him. Well, I can, and why would I live like that after experiencing him? That's so real, man. That's so real. I am here, say, you can tell it's falling. Look, you can tell it's falling. Look at the royals. Yeah. Yeah, I think I know what you mean with that. Cameron Lamar Richardson said, a life without Yahusha is no life at all, man. That's real. I am here, said, I read that today, 2 Kings 18. Oh, okay. Khan. Bakir Yamin Manu said, an example of the same language, verse same script, is in the Judges 12:6. This is more about how they pronounce word. Yeah, Khan. That makes sense. Cody Salah said, when Yahusha was on the stake, was he speaking Hebrew, and that's why they couldn't understand him? Because they spake Aramaic? I got to look into that. Because, yeah, I don't know. Because the record does say he said something in Aramaic, but you got to look deeper into that. Cody Salah said, oh, that makes all the sense. Azakar, that bot means, Azakar, that bot means the sign of the house. Oh, Azakar, that bot means the sign of the house. Yeah, the breakdown for the Hebrew word bot is the sign, because that's bet tav, the tav, the mark or the sign of the house or the bet. So Khan, the sign of the house. And Jezebel is the sign of her father's house. Man, that's a great point right there. Nah, that's all right, man. That's real. That's real, man. That is real. Cody Saylor said, short story, there was a young woman I worked with 6 months pregnant. She was being abused and the company knew. They claimed to have offered her help, but she declined. They ended up being murdered. Oh, man. That's crazy. They ended up being murdered by her husband, and it appeared on the news. They offered me counseling and said nothing further about it. Yeah, man, look, that they don't really care like that. I mean, there may be individuals within the company who care, but as far as the company as a whole, man, they just gonna replace the people. That's just how it is. When I said they, I mean herself and her unborn child. Man, that's horrible. That is, dang, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Momo Shah Yahoo, shalom, shalom. Shalom Barakot to you. Shalom Barakot. He said, our people hate authority or order. That's real. That's real, man. Okay, he said, apologies on, Kimberly Lamar Richardson said, apologies on that last part. I was saying Hasatan is deceiving many on how they honor and regard their elders. Yeah, that's real. That's real talk. Yeah, told off for clarifying. Momo Shah Yahoo said, Hasatan, knowing he only has a short time, my opinion, Yahuwah will show his power through the Ruach upon his people. Oh, no, that's real. Man, that's real. He said, yeah, unfortunately, those who have luxury will have a greater test to enter in, being like Lot's wife. Man, that is real. You right on it. You right on it, man. All praise to the Most High. But all right, y'all. Man, we went long today, Miss Parker. We did. It was a lot to cover, though. But, man, love y'all. Most High willing. We'll do, I believe. I don't think we're going to do this next week. Yes, we are. No, we got some stuff going on. But most high willing, we're going to do this again probably the week after next week. But much ahava. Shalom, shalom. And we're going to go from there, Miss Parker. All praise to the Most High. All praises to Yahuwah.
Hallelujah.